It's that time of the night here for the Miami RedHawks. It's hockey time here from Oxford, Ohio. My name is Andrew Relvas here talking hockey all pregame show long. It's the Miami RedHawks versus the Omaha Mavericks here in Steve Coach Cady Arena. This is going to be a fun one between two NCHC opponents. Final home series of the season here for the RedHawks. The Miami RedHawks versus the Omaha Mavericks in what should be a very entertaining interconference matchup between these two teams. Omaha coming into tonight, a record of 16-10-4, 9-8-3 in NCHC play. Meanwhile, the RedHawks, they are 7-20-3, 1-17-2 in NCHC play. The bottom of the conference in that category. Omaha, they're third worst in the NCHC. But overall, this should be a fun one here between these two conference opponents. Miami versus Omaha. And a battle that will be the final home series of the year for the RedHawks. It's been a phenomenal showing by all the fans. It's going to be a whiteout here for the RedHawks fans. I expect them to get loud in this one, make this one tough here for Omaha, and it should be another electric atmosphere here from Coach Cady Arena. Overall, between the RedHawks and the Mavericks, 29-25 and 7 advantage for Miami. They've won 4 more games than the Omaha Mavericks. Their last matchup was a 2-3 overtime loss at home last year. They were 0-2 last year versus the Mavericks, but it's a new year, new slate. RedHawks trying to flip the script and hopefully take down the Omaha Mavericks here from Coach Cady Arena. My name is Andrew Relvas here talking pregame show. Thank you so much for tuning in to tonight's action. Overall, the RedHawks are 4-4-2 versus the Mavericks dating back to 2019. 0-1-1 last year versus Omaha. The Mavericks came out to Oxford. Very close series. The RedHawks, they had them, but they fell in their most recent game in overtime to the Mavericks. 5-4-1 in their last 10 at home versus the Mavericks. So they own the slight edge over Omaha at home. And even though the last series was kind of one-sided for Omaha after they took down the RedHawks, Miami's hoping to finish it strong here and hopefully take down the Omaha Mavericks and pick up their 8th win of the year. They had 8 wins last year. They're trying to at least match or hopefully eclipse that, as we've got 4 more games left to play on the regular season schedule. The RedHawks, they play against Western Michigan in their final series up at Kalamazoo, and then after that, it's going to do it for the regular season. So Omaha versus Miami, and then Miami at Western Michigan, the final 2 series of the year for these two teams. Past game for the RedHawks, they fell to the Denver Pioneers 8-1. A tough one for the Miami RedHawks, who were visiting all the way off at Denver. It was 2 goals in the first for Denver, 3 in the second, and 3 in the third. That would make it 8-1 Denver. And a tough one against the number 3 team in the nation, the Denver Pioneers. Bruno Berveris has been very solid, but he was just absolutely lit up in the series against Denver. The first game, though, was really entertaining. The RedHawks went to overtime against the Denver Pioneers. They eventually fell 3-4 in the shootout, but you know, you take it, you get the point. And head coach Bergeron definitely impressed with the team's effort. And, you know, despite the loss, you got to admire this effort here from the RedHawks. They show out. They fight to the very end of the buzzer, and unfortunate for them, they take the L, but come on, they're the Denver Pioneers. They're one of the best teams in the country for a reason, and the fact that you put up a strong fight is definitely something to look forward to and a step in the right direction. But the game after, they fell 8-1, so you go pretty much 0 to 100, and you get a full picture of this Denver offense. And yeah, it was tough sledding for the RedHawks. The only goal scorer was Robbie Drasner in that game. 8-1 was the score there. And the game before, a 3-3 tie. It was a good day at the office for John Waldron, Raymonds Vitolins, and Matthew Barbolini. So some RedHawks veterans definitely contributing in a tough series at Denver. But overall, just a tough weekend. The RedHawks at home once more for the final time this year. They're going to try and flip the script and bring this one back their way and get a nice home victory, hopefully, over the Omaha Mavericks. Meanwhile, Omaha, they had a very interesting last weekend. They faced off against Colorado College, where they ended up winning in their first game 3-0, and then the second one they tied a 1-1 in the Saturday matchup. The first game, a 3-0 win versus Colorado College. It was a nice game from Jack Randall, Ty Moeller, and Nolan Sullivan for the Omaha Mavericks, able to take down the Colorado College Tigers 3-0. Good game as well from the goalie Letkotsky, who had 24 saves in the series opener. Great stuff there from the goalie. Is going to be a big reason why Omaha is always dangerous every year, and you know, it's because of their goalie play. That's how you win games, and RedHawks got another good goalie in Bruno Buvaris, but Letkotsky, the goalie, making a huge stand for Omaha. Wins the first one. Second game, a little bit more close, but that's expected against Colorado College. A 1-1 tie versus the Tigers. Nolan Sullivan once more having another phenomenal weekend with a goal against Colorado College. The only goal of the day. Letkotsky as well, he played well. And, you know, you'll take that against the number 10 team in the nation. You go 1-0-1. Not bad by any means. And here, hopefully, if you're an Omaha fan, you can hopefully pick up a nice W against the Miami RedHawks, who you've had a pretty good time against recently. And just got to continue to apply pressure here in NCHC play. I'll step away here from Coach Cady Arena, the top 25 matchups for the second to last weekend of college hockey here on Red Hawk Radio. You're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. Stay tuned for more action here from Cady Arena in Oxford, Ohio. Welcome back to Steve Cady Arena. My name is Andrew Relvas, talking pregame show hockey. The RedHawks and the Omaha Mavericks set to go. The RedHawks facing off against the number 18 Omaha Mavericks here in another NCHC affair. Time to talk top 25 matchups here from college hockey. First game of the day, number 1 ranked Boston College facing off against number 17th ranked New Hampshire Wildcats. Should be a fun one in their respective leagues. A good battle on Friday night. It'll be a good preview for New Hampshire as they try and continue to make their push towards an NCAA tournament berth. Should be a fun one once that happens. UMass facing off against UMass Lowell. 14th ranked Minutemen facing off on the road at UMass Lowell. 7:15 start there. Another fun one on tap. Cornell, the Big Red, are hosting Union. A 7:30 start for that one. The 13th ranked Big Red trying to continue to make their push towards a national NCAA tournament berth. All starts with winning these games on the weekend. They're trying their best to do so. Princeton at home facing off against St. Louis, the Tigers of Princeton, number 10 team in the country. Once again, one of those teams who's in the thick of it from the Ivy League. Trying to outperform Cornell, hopefully, and get a nice win at home. Number 9 ranked Maine facing off against the Vermont Catamounts on the road. Should be an entertaining matchup on the East Coast. That one's a 7 o'clock start as well. Clarkson at Quinnipiac. Quinnipiac won the national championship last year. They're trying to repeat their efforts here in the next calendar year. Just got to win a few more games before postseason play occurs. And Quinnipiac right in the mix of those teams that you don't want to face if you're one of those teams on the up and up. Got a few NCHC matchups occurring. Some fun ones at that. The number 4 Denver Pioneers facing off against St. Cloud State, the Huskies. 4 versus 15 matchup. Always a fun one in the NCHC at St. Cloud State. You know, one of the surprises of the NCHC, really. They're facing off against the Denver Pioneers, who just took down the RedHawks 8-1. So, you know, here we go. This is a good test for St. Cloud State, bringing in Denver. And that one will take on at 8:30 Eastern time. Another NCHC affair. The Western Michigan Broncos facing off against North Dakota. A 12 versus 3 matchup. Expect that one to be a pretty high-scoring affair at North Dakota. North Dakota is the 3rd-ranked team in the nation. Trying to make the NCAA tournament once again. And got a good team in the Western Michigan Broncos to hopefully take down if you're an ND fan. 9 o'clock start, a few Big Ten matchups. Michigan State at Wisconsin. This is probably the matchup of the night. The number 6 ranked Michigan State Spartans facing off against the number 4 ranked Wisconsin Badgers. Red Savage, notably the big transfer from Miami. It's been a big reason why Michigan State has really ascended to the heights they've been this entire season. And that one will be a 9 o'clock start. 6 versus 4 should be a fun one from the Big Ten at the 8:30 time slot as well. Number 16th ranked Michigan Wolverines are facing off against the number 8 Minnesota Golden Gophers. And another fun Big Ten matchup. Go through a few more. Last one, Long Island at Arizona State, the number 20 ranked ASU Sun Devils trying to make a push for that NCAA tournament berth. They can definitely make a push for it, and we'll see if they have any juice left in them. Number 20th in the nation, hosting LIU. Last one, Miami versus Omaha. Talked all about that one. And right now, I'll give you the keys to the games for the RedHawks. So how can the RedHawks take down the Omaha Mavericks here from Coach Cady Arena? Well, first, the RedHawks are going to have to control the puck. That's how it starts. You got to win the faceoffs. You got to apply the pressure, and you got to stick it to these Omaha Mavericks early. First of all, you got to win those faceoffs, and I expect P.J. Fletcher to be that guy here for the RedHawks. He's a senior. He's RedHawks superstar, second in goals, and he has been all over for the RedHawks. It's all about applying pressure, and another thing that the RedHawks are phenomenal at is they're great in the defensive zone. They rank in terms of blocks, one of the top blocking teams in the conference. Expect that to be another factor in this one. How can the RedHawks slow down this Omaha Mavericks offense? One of the best offenses in the conference. In terms of defense, not up to par as their offense, but still, they're the number 18th best team in the nation. Can't take them for granted. We saw it against St. Cloud State. You know, they had chances. They just could not put St. Cloud State away. They had them for a little bit, the majority of the game, but just at the last moment, St. Cloud State stuck ahead, and they really costed the RedHawks down the road. So hopefully the script is flipped here for the RedHawks. They can slow down this Omaha Mavericks offense and potentially get their first win in quite a while. RedHawks' last win was against Western Michigan, January 13th. So pretty much 2 months now, or a month and a half. Last time they saw the victory column, and it was their only NCHC win, which was against the Western Michigan Broncos. But here we go, last series of the home schedule here for the RedHawks. Some more fans start to file in here. It's going to be a electric atmosphere, and I expect it to really come down to the wire, the RedHawks and the Mavericks. RedHawks also are led by Bruno Buveris, a goalie who is really, he's been great in his limited action. Obviously, you know, you face off against the number 3 team in the nation, the Denver Pioneers. You get shelled 8-1. But in his limited action, especially here at home when we've been able to watch him up close, he's been real strong and real reliable here for head coach Bergeron. And I expect Bruno Buveris once more to make some nice saves on the transition and once again slow down this Omaha Mavericks front. It's going to be a fun one here from Oxford. RedHawks are trying to take a strike at Simon Lakotsky, the goalie for Omaha from Slovakia, one of the best goalies in the NCHC. Feels like all these goalies from the NCHC are just top class. And Lakotsky no different. He had 24 saves in the weekend game versus St. Cloud State. So this will be another fun one here from Coach Cady Arena. Miami versus Omaha. Turning it over to Luke and Jeff for the rest of this one in just a moment. But once more, the RedHawks, they just got to apply the pressure. They got to bring the energy on the ice and make life difficult for the Omaha Mavericks. Should be a fun one here. Final NCHC home series for the RedHawks. It's been a great season from start to finish, and hopefully the RedHawks can get some last energy in here and potentially get a nice W to close out the home season schedule. What's been an awesome season for the RedHawks. They're trying to knock on a few more wins here as we end the season as it starts to come to a close. We'll all send it over to Luke and Jeff for the rest of this one. Miami versus Omaha, the number 18th ranked Omaha Mavericks trying to take down the RedHawks here at home. Hopefully the RedHawks can bring the energy here and be a spoiler to the Mavericks. Stay tuned for more action. Miami Hockey here on Red Hawk Radio. My name is Andrew Relvas. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll see you at the end of the first period. Thanks so much, and see you in just 1 minute for more Miami Hockey.
For the final time here in 2023-24, one more weekend series to send off the senior class. Trying to pick up some late wins. The Miami RedHawks back in action here at home as they play host to the 18th-ranked Mavericks from Omaha. Luke West, Poley, Jeff Middleton with you. Quick turnaround from baseball across town. A resounding win for the Miami baseball team. First home win under Brian Smiley. RedHawks looking to pick up another here on the ice on this Friday night. And Jeff, it's a RedHawk team that had a similar series to many others last weekend at Denver that they've had throughout the year. Very competitive on Friday night, showed some late life. Couple of goals in the third period to send the game to a shootout and pick up a point in the NCHC standings, but the RedHawks unable to knock off the Pioneers, falling in the shootout. And then just a lackluster performance where they kind of ran out of gas on Saturday. RedHawks looking to rebound against an Omaha team, Jeff, that sits on the outside looking in right now at number 18 in the country, but pretty firmly on the bubble. This is a Mavericks group that can't afford to lose to a team like Miami, putting it quite honestly, and really can't afford to lose in general if they want an at-large bid to the NCAA tournament. They will likely need to win out and get to the frozen face-off and make it to the last four of the NCHC tournament. But this is a RedHawk team that's been very up and down as we've just kind of been left to wonder what kind of RedHawk team we're going to see. It's been good at times, but at other times not so much.
Yeah, and I'd argue at times it was even great. I mean, that third period against Denver, they were down 3-1 and then came back with less than 10 minutes remaining in the third. I mean, that Denver team is ranked third in the nation for a reason. They have a bunch of talented players, and offensively especially, they're fantastic. And Miami found a way to claw back and get that game to a 3-3 tie, and then the overtime, Bruno Braveris was absolutely phenomenal that entire game, but in the overtime, he made that incredible save. NCHC top play of the week. Shai Buyam in the right circle just fired one into what looked like an empty net, and he just launched himself back and snagged it with the glove. But then, like you said, Luke, that Saturday game was exactly what a lot of people expected, and I think that Miami's obviously looking for that Friday effort, but we've seen it before that, you know, Miami comes out early in these Friday games, and they'll play really hard, and they'll have they'll have really strong efforts, and their big guys will do what they're supposed to do, but then, you know, later even it's got to be consistent for an entire weekend. And Omaha, I mean, Chris Bergeron talked about it, but Omaha is a very, very deep team. They have 3 players with at least 20 points and 12 players with at least 10, and their goaltending, Simon Lakotsky, starting tonight, he's phenomenal. He's been one of the best goaltenders in college hockey, let alone in the NCHC. So it's going to be a tough test, a different kind of test for the RedHawks tonight.
Definitely a different kind of Omaha team. They always play a little bit of a different style than the rest of the groups in the NCHC. Should be a fun one between Miami and 18th-ranked Omaha. We'll toss it off to public address for the national anthem. Puck drop is next between RedHawks and Mavericks here on Red Hawk Radio. Miami and Omaha will be puck dropping momentarily here on Red Hawk Radio. Let's take a look at the starting goaltenders this evening. Simon Lakosi has the net for Omaha. The sophomore from Trenčín, Slovakia, making his 26th appearance of the year, carries a 13-9-3 win-loss record, 2.79 goals against average, .905 save percentage, and 2 shutouts in his second year of college hockey. It is Bruno Rivera's net for the time being for Miami. Jeff mentioned how good he was last weekend in that Friday game, and he's back at it here on this Friday. 13th start for the freshman from Riga, Latvia. 6 foot, 173 pounds, 110-1 record, 3.88 goals against average, and an .872 save percentage for Breveris, the freshman from Latvia. Take a look at our officials. The Eric Frank cheering section is here. Unfortunately, they didn't do their research as Frank is not here this weekend. The referees are Stephen Renaud and Brian Hankes. Troy Merritt and Chris Williams are working the lines here this evening. And about a half-full Cady Arena that looks like has a lot of fans out in the turnstiles that are awaiting getting into the rink. Omaha goes with the classic Maverick uniforms, all black with the text in Omaha across the front. White names and numbers with red accents along the sides. They move it left to right. Love the look that the Mavericks have been rocking with. Super clean. Miami goes with the white helmet, script red Miami across the side. The white uniforms with the gray pinstripes and red script Miami across the front. Red names and numbers, red pants, white socks with red stripes. And they move it right to left. Puck is down. RedHawks win the opening faceoff. Off we go from Cady Arena. And Miami immediately pushing it into the offensive end. It's Raymond Vitalins going to work on the forecheck. Plucked out of the corner by Kirby Proctor. Graduate student gets it ahead through the center for Mancini. Dancing through, he enters the Red Hawk end in the left wing. It's swatted off his stick by Fletcher, and Barbolini clears as far as center. Brought back in, this is Lutke tearing down the right wing into the corner, trying to shovel it back up to the point, but it was intercepted by Fletcher. He leaves off for Clement, and near half wall he banks for Barbolini. Barbolini rink wide for Fletcher with speed down the right wing, dangles through one, but Mancini cuts him off in front of the net after he got by Proctor, and it's taken away. 40 seconds gone by, and both teams going for changes here from Oxford.
You've seen it early. Sorry, Luke. You've seen it early, but Chris Bergeron talked about it. Omaha plays differently just in the way that they're physical. It's not as much about the high-end skill that they have like North Dakota or Denver. It's all about the physicality and working, and Miami early has been coming out with that same energy.
It kind of plays into Miami's hand of sorts as the RedHawks get it into the Maverick end. It is played through, but cleared back out as a pass didn't connect cleanly with Albin Nielsen. RedHawks dump it back in, and handling with it, Nolan Krenzen, the senior from Twig, Minnesota, sends it to the far side. Dump in attempt, hit off a skate outside the blue line, and the Mavericks will have to regroup in their own zone. This is Krenzen once again, pretty undersized at 5'9" on the back end, but he's been a solid veteran defenseman for Omaha this season. Back behind his own net. It is a circle around, trip and a fall there from Joaquim LeMay for Omaha, but they do get it forward into the right wing where it's spun through the middle by Lansdale, but nobody was home for the Mavericks. In behind the net, a bump into the back of Jacob Gavin, not quite enough to warrant a penalty from Zane Dempsey, just enough to separate from the puck. Clearing attempt is failed at the left point as a wrist shot through from Lutke is sticked aside by Breveris. Puck is pinned below the goal line as we cross the 2-minute mark of the first period with no score between the RedHawks and Omaha. Lutke with a steal up to the right point, dragging and holding. Gavin wrists one well wide. It's picked up on the far half wall by Lutke, but he overskated it, and the puck will squirt out to neutralize. Gavin backing it up. This game has not been played much in the neutral zone so far through the opening 2.5 minutes. As getting through down the right wing into the Red Hawk end goes Tyler Rollwagon, the sophomore from Bloomington, Minnesota. Try to give a pass up to the far point. It hopped the stick of his defenseman Noah Ellis, the extra skater and draft choice of the Vegas Golden Knights. Again, Omaha regroups. Big hit laid behind the play by Teddy Lagerbach. He tries to take another run at Fust, who was making his way down the right wing, but a rink-wide feed forces a dump into the RedHawk zone. Now on the right point, this is Krenzen. Cross the ice for Ellis on the left point. His wrister through, blocked with the side of the skate by Clement. Puck still alive on the left point. Now back to the near wing. This is Krenzen working down the wall. Krenzen shoots. This high save made with the shoulder of Breveris. Puck loose in the slot. RedHawks chop it to the right point. Krenzen shoots it intentionally wide on the far side. Looking for the rebound was Rollwagon, but he couldn't pull the trigger on a clean shot. And Miami gets it out to center. 16:43 to go first period. No score between the RedHawks and Omaha. Mavericks at the game's only 2 shots so far. Circling in his own end, this is Mancini backing it up for the Mavericks, the draft choice of the New York Rangers. Now puck up the near wall. Randall got bumped, but spins it to Muller. Tried to give it back near the blue line, but it got swatted out of the air on the saucing feed. And Mancini will backpedal it towards his own end once again. Mancini down the right wing. Cross the ice for Kirby Proctor down the far side. And up ahead. Penalty is coming up as Muller got tripped up at the blue line. And the RedHawks will touch it up. And that will bring the game's first penalty. It comes against Miami's Hampus Ryquist. He will sit 2 for tripping with 16:08 to go in the first in a scoreless game.
Yeah, the Mavericks just had all of the possession down there, and you can see their game plan is to work really, really hard down low and be physical down there, force errors with the puck. They're a quick team too. I mean, you might not think of that the way that Chris Bergeron and others have described them, but they are a very quick team, and that's why this strategy works. That's why the physicality and the forcing errors works, and now because of their good play so far in the zone and getting into the zone, they've earned themselves a power play.
Face-off win by the Mavericks. It's a power play that's 15.1% on the season as pass comes through the slot but doesn't find anybody for the Mavericks. It's Lutke over to the far wing for Ty Muller. His chip pass got deflected by Clement. Now he throws it back towards the slot area. It just goes through everybody, and now it will be cleared up ahead. Waldron grabs it at neutral ice and fires it in. Kind of a reprieve of sorts for the RedHawks that they don't have to face a top 10 power play in the nation that it feels like you face every single weekend in league play, but a pretty strong Miami penalty kill, especially here at home, have to remain steady against an Omaha team that certainly got scoring talent, making his way through. Tanner Lutke could not get through the traffic, and Miami clears it out to center. Could have cleared further, but they mishandle. Omaha brings it back in, but now it's swatted right back to neutral ice by Dempsey. Fletcher is giving Lutke some trouble. That's Griffin Lutke, and he took the puck away, but did so offside as he backed into the zone before taking it and pulling it in with him later. That will bring a neutral ice draw with 15:13 to go in the first period. 1:06 left in the minor penalty to Hampus Ryquist.
Yeah, and you talked about it, Luke. I mean, Miami special teams to this point has been pretty good. I mean, their power play, especially over the Denver series, was the reason that they were even able to come back in that first game. And the penalty kill scored that weird goal where Drasner in the slot deflected a pass, and it went all the way down to the Denver net. But other than that, I mean, Miami's penalty kill has been pretty solid all year. There have been some bumps in the road, but for the most part, it's been pretty good, and their power play is starting to get into a groove. So special teams are going to be a big factor here.
Omaha back into the offensive end. It was lost on the far wing by Gavin, and the RedHawks will just grab it and clear down. Yeah, Miami's only goal on Saturday night was on a delayed penalty where Denver had the goalie out, and a pass got deflected, banked off the far side wall, and went all the way down into the empty net. It was an empty net goal in the first period that was credited to Robbie Drasner. Back into the offensive end go the Mavericks, and they'll set it up top. This is LeMay, who will wrist it down low, and now it's turned up the half wall for Gavin, back for LeMay, and now Gavin once more in the half wall. Gavin from the hashes with 16 seconds left in the penalty. Plays near wing. This is Sullivan spinning it around away from Miami's Sullivan, and the RedHawks, Sullivan wins it and will throw it down. 5 seconds left in the minor penalty to Ryquist. 14:09 to go first period. Ryquist is out of the box. He's a free man, and Miami's 1 for 1 on the penalty kills so far. No shots on the man advantage for Omaha. Behind the RedHawk net, this is Clement handing up for Nielsen on the near side. Stops his feet and sauces to the far wing for Ryquist. Ryquist tearing down the wing, enters the zone, throws one in on net. It's turned aside by Lacozi. Puck still loose along the end wall, and now it's swatted up the far side boards where it will be directed all the way back to the RedHawk end. Jack Clement back out to get it short of icing. He'll leave up the near wall for Zane Dempsey, who now swirls. Clement has it in space in the near side as the RedHawks look to move it up. They do play it ahead, and it is Vitalin's muscling off. Throws one towards the front of the net, but it was whacked away by Ray Fust of Omaha and directed to the far corner. Jacob Slipik, the senior from British Columbia, is knocked off the puck by Vitalins. RedHawk forecheck really going to work. Nielsen lays a huge hit there on Proctor, and now another from Barbolini, but the Mavericks, meanwhile, take it the other way. Down the left wing, Slipik stops his feet on the half wall. He gets dumped by Fletcher, and will play it in deep. Kumlin has it up for Simonovics for Miami. Barbolini couldn't handle it cleanly, and a shot from the point hit off a RedHawk defender in front and snuck just wide of the right post. Along the near wall, Slipik gets a shoulder from Vitalins, who will now crumple him up against the near wall. 12:46 to go first period. No score between Miami and Omaha. Shots 2-1 in favor of the Mavericks. Puck ends up loose, and it's Simonovic that will wrist it up the near wall. Krenzen couldn't get a clean handle, and it will evade the zone. Now Barbolini with a takeaway. He's bracketed by black jerseys, but throws it to the far side where Taransky can track it in the corner. Taransky kind of got hauled down there, and the back official did get it. And a good forecheck by Artur Taransky on the combo effort with Matthew Barbolini will bring a penalty as he got hauled down in the corner, and Miami will get the game's second power play, first of the RedHawks' chance when we come back. 12:24 to go first period between the RedHawks and the Mavericks. We are scoreless here on Friday night. Thanks so much for tuning in. We're back in just a moment. You're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. .24 to go first period. No score between Miami and Omaha here on Friday night. Noah Ellis gets a minor penalty for the Mavericks as he will sit 2 for tripping, and the RedHawks go to the man advantage for the first time. And Jeff, you said it just prior to that break, this Miami power play, they've been clicking a little bit, which hasn't really been the case at all in conference play. They're just 14.6% on the season, 15 goals on 103 tries. But got some mojo, hoping that carries over into this weekend as they try to break the scoreless tie. John Waldron on the faceoff for Miami. It is Waldron, Sullivan, and Barbolini with Vitalins and Simonovic on the back end. Faceoff win by the Mavericks, and in the near corner it is thrown high off the glass and all the way down the ice with some speed by Jesse Lansdale of Omaha. So the RedHawks forced to regroup right away, and it's Richard Simonovic trying to cut it across the zone. He got knocked off the puck. That's an easy clear back in for the Mavericks, and Chris Bergeron just chomps on the gum of the Miami bench. Simonovic has it once again. Will walk by the first defender and now the second as he hands it off for Barbolini just inside the blue. Hot pressure comes and he'll ring it around to the far side. Puck hops the stick of Sullivan, and again it'll be grabbed by Omaha and cleared.
Simonovic has been promoted to this first power play unit. He was really good. I mean, he assisted on Raymond's Vitalin's goal to make the Denver game 3-2 on that Friday game. He's been really solid this season, and Chris Bergeron has nothing but good things to say about him whenever we ask him about him too. It's good to see him get rewarded with that.
Fletcher whacks the stick out of Randall's hand as he's carrying it up the ice, and that's going to be a penalty. We saw Connor Bedard do this in an NHL game last week. Fletcher had the puck, and Randall was coming at him, and Fletcher just whacked the stick out of his hand. Actually, they're going to get Taransky, who was in the area. So that makes a little more sense.
I was going to say, I didn't see anything. I know he dropped his stick, but I didn't see.
And so that'll make it a 4-on-4 with 1 minute and 2 seconds left in the penalty to Omaha before they go on the power play. It looked like it was Fletcher, but I guess it was Taransky from behind that.
Yeah, Taransky got him from behind. That kind of got him on the hands. But, I mean, we were looking at this Omaha penalty kill, too. I was just going to mention that, before they took that penalty, it's crazy to see 3 forwards on their forecheck pretty much below the face-off dots. They have 2 guys below the goal line, and then they have 1 guy kind of hovering around the crease. It's a forecheck I don't think we've seen kind of all season. It's extremely aggressive.
Yeah, they go at you with a lot of different looks. At times they ran a pretty strict 1-1-2 type of pressure as the RedHawks get it into the zone. This is Daskis that makes his way behind the net, tried to throw it in front. It went off a shin pad and deflects back in behind. Moulton is stripped from the puck by Lutke, and now Dukovac will try to forecheck in behind. This is Gavin on the near side for Omaha with 10:56 to go in the first period. Still no score. Glynn dances by Waldron and will get down the right side before circling at the near hash. Glynn tried to spin it across the ice. There was no one there. This will go all the way off the boards and back into Omaha's end where they'll regroup it. 20 seconds left in the 4-on-4. Omaha will then have about 58 seconds of power play time following it. Bremer down the right wing, cuts it across, and will now circle up at the left point. A turnaround shot snapped out of the air by Breveris, and he holds on with 7 seconds to go. And the penalty to Omaha's Noah Ellis. Minute 5 seconds left in the slashing minor to Artur Taransky. 10:30 to go opening period, and we're still scoreless.
And in this 4-on-4, you've kind of been able to see a few of the Omaha forwards and how good their skating ability is. I mean, we talk about their system, but you have to be a good skater to play their system, and you have to use your speed to your advantage. And those were a couple of rushes that didn't result in anything concrete, but just kind of showcase the kind of stuff that they can do with space.
Lutke throws it in front. It was deflected, and as the penalty expires, Breveris elects to play it out wide, and the RedHawks clear.
A little dangerous play there,
but a little bit.
Why not make things a little interesting, right?
Works out in the RedHawks' favor. 40 seconds left in the penalty to Taransky following the clearing attempt as we cross the halfway mark of the first. No score between Miami and Omaha. Miller down the right side looking for a lane in front. Nothing opens up. Omaha resets at the point. Lutke walks the line up to the left wing. He plays it back. A D-to-D pass ends up in the neutral zone as he couldn't hook up with Muller laterally. 20 seconds left on the penalty to Taransky. Lutke delayed a little at the blue line. Now it's played out in front. And a deflection on it by Muller, but it went wide. Puck still alive. It's Lutke over to the far circle. Tanner Lutke, I should say. Played out in front. Slapper from the left dot is stopped by Breveris. Rebound tucked in behind the net as the penalty to Taransky comes to an end. Lutke holds the right zone. That time it's Griffin Lutke, but the RedHawks are back to full strength, and now Omaha goes for changes and the pressure alleviates. Taransky has it for the RedHawks down the left wing, and he'll dump in. Gavin circling behind his own net, and he will try to leave it, but it hits off Taransky's skate and gives it right back to him. He'll now head up the left wing. Connects with Erdahl, who will double it back towards his own end. Now it's Jacob Slipik back to the far wing for LeMay. LeMay's pass got deflected out in front. Breveris elected not to play it and made an excellent save, stonewalling off on Erdahl. Puck deflected back in front of the net. Like Breveris didn't know he was there. Gavin has it now at the right point, trying to go across the ice for LeVay, but it went off his stick. And LeMay directs it in deep. Now the RedHawks get it back up to the point, and it's Dukovac ahead for Waldron, who will cross the center red and dump it in. Out of his net, Lacozy will shovel it in behind the far circle, where LeMay will take it into the corner with 8:21 to go in the first period. Still no score. Shots are 7-1 in favor of the Mavericks, who are 0 for 2 on the power play. Glenn with a huge sidestep on Nielsen. Those two looked like they were on a collision course. Now a 3-on-2 the other way. Lansdell leaves it off. Bremer's shot save made. Tried to wrap it around on the rebound, but he lost control. Omaha still with it. This is Krenzen on the right point. Mishandled and will be forced to backhand it in. Simonovic, though, lost it in the near corner, and it's picked back up by Lansdell. Jesse Lansdell in the corner, lost it in a bubble of space, and the RedHawks will softly chip it off the glass and back into the neutral zone. And Chris Bergeron just looks to be fuming, pacing up and down the Miami bench.
This might be one of the fastest starts to a game in terms of just pace of play that we've seen all year. These Mavericks can move.
It's played down the ice. A pass was missed, and it's down for icing with 7:32 to go in the first period. And it's really interesting, as we're scoreless, that quite honestly, given the pace, it hasn't really generated a whole ton of scoring chances.
No. I think honestly part of it is Miami's they've done a good job of defending shot lanes and getting in passing lanes, even though Omaha's had most of the possession. But it also doesn't help that Miami hasn't really had the puck, and when they did, it was on a power play, and then they eventually, gave up that power play on a slash from Artur Taransky. But yeah, no, I definitely agree. There's not a lot of offense, and there's a penalty on Matt Barbolini, probably for a hold.
Right off the draw, and he gets it for a hook.
I would say he kind of restricted him. But again, this is the third Omaha power play of the period, and Miami's penalty kill has done a good job so far. But frankly, if you keep doing this, it's not going to end well. It's been 12 and a half minutes, and we've seen the kind of speed that this team can have, that this Mavericks team has.
7:28 to go first period, no score. Matthew Barbolini sits 2 for hooking. Omaha power play 0 for 2 on the day. as the faceoff is won to the far side. Puck is tied up between the two wings, and the RedHawks will pull it back, and it's Kumlin behind the Miami net. They'll backhand shovel it to the near side, and it just gets out of the zone. It's interesting, Jeff, because when Miami has been playing better, even when they've given up goals, it seemed like their legs have been working correctly, but their heads haven't. In this game, it's kind of been the reverse. They haven't really been moving their feet as much. They're making smart plays, but they're not quite working as hard as we typically see as the RedHawks get it back in their own zone and will chip it back out to center. Tanner Ludke leaves just inside the blue for Miller. Miller still with it through contact, throws up high slot. Randall tried to make an extra pass from the slot instead of shooting. There was nobody there on the far side. Now Griffin Ludke with a one-timer from center point. That got blocked by a mass of bodies in front. Into the far corner, got ripped through in behind the net, and is off the wall of the near wing where Sullivan is bodying off a couple of Mavericks, and he'll play it in behind for Kumlin, who grabs it in the corner and will flutter it across the ice and down as we cross the 1 minute mark of the power play. 56 seconds to go in the minor to Matthew Barbolini. 6:21 to go first period. Omaha out shooting Miami 8-1, but fruitless so far, no score. Bremer skating laterally, gives off just inside the blue line for Gavin. And back down low, a low to high play to the point is missed by LeMay. He'll have to regather in the neutral zone and will now give it back to his own end. LeMay up ahead for Gavin down the right wing. High chip pass finds Sullivan in the near corner of the RedHawks zone. Puck is poked off his stick for the moment by Moulton. Now it rolls free behind the net for Ludke. Back up top, LeMay. Not in the wheelhouse for a one-timer. His wrister is patted aside by Braveris. Omaha still with it. 12 seconds to go in the penalty to Barbolini in the far corner. This is Gavin up top. A save made. Rebound flies out there, and Bremer's shot got blocked into the protective netting. LeMay's wrister from the point. Braveris made an excellent save. The rebound was alive, but just a mishandle in front allowed some RedHawks to get into position.
Dylan Moulton
Moulton gets the block. Bremer just had to handle that puck because he was trying to settle it. If he one-timed it, would have had a good chance on goal. Instead, it's blocked into the netting. 5:33 to go first period. 5 seconds left on the penalty to Matthew Barbolini in a scoreless game. 10-1, the shots in favor of Omaha.
And the RedHawks just need to keep making. There were a couple plays on that penalty kill where their decision-making was a little too slow, and that's when Omaha jumps on you. And you know, that's one of the areas where Miami has had to improve over the course of the season, especially in this conference, is just making quicker plays with the puck and making the right plays at that pace.
Omaha's got it back into the Miami end. The RedHawks are back at full strength, so it's 5-on-5 with 5:10 to go in the first. Nielsen pins Mancini on the near wall, but now Mancini gets free, throws it from a bad angle. That might have hit the post, maybe got a piece of Braveris' helmet, but it stays out. Mancini on the right point, winds and fakes and loses his footing. Still has it and plays behind the back. Man, he is really shifty. Now he crashes into his teammate on the near wall. Bit of a car crash on the right point. Puck comes loose for Fust. Plays it across and a deflected pass between the legs shot. Ends up wide off the stick there of Erdahl. Wow, this is, for how physical this team generally is, as the RedHawks clear it down. It'll go for icing with 4:37 to go in the first. And no score. This is a flashy Omaha team. We've seen a lot of nice moves here throughout this first.
Yeah, and Erdahl is one of Omaha's top scorers. He's got 15 points in 24 games this year, and you know, he's on that second line. He's been really good this season, and you know, we've seen a couple highlight reel goals this year. But that one would have been, if that one went in, that might have taken the cake. I don't know though. That Ben Steve shootout goal with the one hand was kind of nuts.
It was.
I shouldn't even say kind of. That was nuts.
It was. Omaha back with it in the offensive end. It's Krenzen. Wrister through traffic, got deflected in front, but a save by Braveris. Randall got a stick on it. Braveris has been really good in this first period. Puck on the left point now. Muller crossed the ice, and a one-timer is whiffed. Open net as it's thrown out in front, but the RedHawks clear it up to the point. Krenzen has it on the right side. His wrister through traffic, glove down by Braveris, and he holds on to get to the media timeout. Bruno Braveris is willing this team to stay in this game right now. 13-1, the shots in favor of Omaha. No goals on the scoreboard yet with 3:59 to go in the first. We'll head to break here on Red Hawk Radio. More Miami hockey on the way. 3:59 to go, first period. No score between Miami and Omaha as the Mavericks lead in shots 13-1. Luke West, Poley, Jeff Middleton with you. And Jeff, after not many scoring chances early on, really for either team, despite the Mavericks having the shot lead, this step behind that the RedHawks seem to have right now is starting to rear its head a little bit.
Yeah, it was a really open game for the first probably half of this period, and nobody really took advantage of it. Omaha had a few shots, but Relvas took care of them, and then, with that last power play, especially giving them momentum, the Mavericks have just kind of taken over, and 13 shots to 1 right now. You'd like to see Miami kind of get on the gas pedal a little bit.
RedHawks do dump it into the Maverick end, and now the forecheck will go to work as Griffin Ludke lifts this one out near the point. It's held in by Simonovics, but he batted it down with the hand, and Taransky's dump-in attempt is whistled down for a hand pass. Taransky and Griffin Ludke coming together. They are broken up rather quickly. Griffin and Tanner Ludke, two guys out of Elko, Minnesota. Tanner, a draft choice of Arizona, both on this roster. Tanner, the freshman, great freshman campaign, 22 points in 30 games.
Second highest scorer on the team.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Griffin not bad for himself either, 17 and 30 as a defenseman, playing on the left side of that third pairing. RedHawks win the faceoff and get it back into the offensive zone. It's Moulton center point for Waldron. His one-timer got blocked by Gavin, who sprawls out, and he will flip it back out to center. Moulton's spin-around attempt to find some space is quickly shut down, and the RedHawks will regroup. It's deflected into the Omaha zone from beyond the center red as Miami goes for a four-man change. Waldron, the lone forechecker, as the Mavericks navigate it up the near side. It's Miller getting by Barbolini and now entering the zone down the middle. Miller drives hard to the net, but the puck is whacked off his stick by Drasner into the near corner. Recovered by Barbolini for the RedHawks. 3:06 to go, first period, and no score. Down the right side, Ryquist enters the zone, will backhand it on in, and it trickles wide. An attempt up the near half wall is knocked down by Fletcher as Omaha can't clear, but now they've got space behind their net. LeMay plays it up the far side. It's swatted further, and Miller tracks down the bouncing puck. His handoff attempt is swatted away from the target of Nolan Sullivan, but eventually he will track it down and fire it on it. Drasner has it from the near side for Miami now as Omaha goes for a change, and the RedHawks will get it up ice. It's Fletcher down the middle, splits two players, and Fletcher hands off for Vitalin's on the near side. Try to give it back, and now Fletcher has it in the corner of the offensive zone. Fletcher working up, shovels a deflected pass to the far side. Dempsey to it, up top for Drasner. Drasner's wrister through traffic got blocked. Fletcher kicks it to himself and shoots save. Rebound attempt in front by Vitalin's, got stopped again by Lacozi. And now Omaha has a 2-on-2 the other way. Lansdale will just shove it in a cross-corner dump as the forecheck looks to go to work. Baser swings back to grab the puck for Miami. The native of Shaker Heights, Ohio, plays it up the near side, and Lagerbach will touch pass off for Dempsey as now the puck is jammed up at center. Finally pulled free by Mancini for Omaha, who dances by Dempsey. Mancini with a shot. It took Lagerbach's stick out of his hand, but it didn't get on net. Minute 44 to go, first period. Still no score, as behind the net, this is Tanner Ludke from the bottom of the left circle now. He will spin it around, face up to the net, and plays it in behind. Randall out in front. There was a swat at it from the left point. Proctor, a shot off two posts, and it's in. That shot went post to post. It looked like the signal was goal before the tap-in. There was a second effort at it by Randall. It'll either be his or Proctor's goal, depending on if the first shot or second one was the first to go in. But it's an Omaha goal regardless, and one you could feel coming on their 14th shot of the game with 91 seconds left in the first. It's 1-0 Mavericks.
You know what, Luke, I wasn't going to interrupt you, but I was thinking of it. That line matchup is horrible. It's Jack Randall, Ty Muller, and Tanner Ludke, two of the top scorers on this Mavericks team, against a Miami fourth line that on their first shift got absolutely caved. And right there, I mean, that's just what happens. You have a team that's got 13 shots prior, and you have a fourth line against the first line that can really score, and that, it results in a goal.
Off the faceoff, the puck is sent into the Miami bench, so we'll do another neutralized draw. So they're still working out the goals versus assists on that. Once again, the shot from Proctor, it was through traffic and hit off both posts. The referee signaled that was when the puck went in. But then charging in, there was a second effort at it by Jack Randall. There was a loose puck that was just sitting in the crease. Again, the official signal on the ice was that the puck had already gone in, but Randall knocked it in again just for good measure. But it looks like they are taking a look just to see officially before they give the goal out to somebody. as it has not been updated yet. Offensive zone face-off for Miami following the shot into the bench, but the RedHawks win it between both their defensemen, and it ends up back out at the neutral zone. Dukovac gets cleanly stripped of the puck, and now taking it through center. It is dumped in for Omaha by Tyler Rollweg. Behind the RedHawk net, Dylan Moulton with a little bit of space to work, and he will just lift this one out near the blue line, and it just barely escapes the zone. Slipik knocks it back in and touches up offside with 49.1 seconds to go in the first. Omaha freshly taking a 1-0 lead and out shooting Miami 14-2.
Yeah, we talked about it was a fast start for both teams in terms of pace of play, but Omaha is just snapping the puck around in the offensive zone, and it's just they look like, compared to Miami, a completely different team just in terms of decision making and quickness of their decision making, and that's making all the difference right now.
Waldron with a nice play to himself off the far wall, now throws it out in front. It went between the legs of Nielsen. Puck still alive, and Sullivan will dump it in. 30 seconds left to go. It's Lutke directing it along the near wall. Off for Tanner, and he flutters it through center, and the puck is knocked out by Muller with 20 seconds left to go. If Miami can get it up quick, they might be able to get one last rush, as Waldron will shove it in on the far side. Lacosi behind his net is out to get it and gives it off to the far wing. Maybe Omaha now thinking one last rush as the puck comes out through center, but Waldron will jam it up. It's pulled back into the Maverick end by Gavin with 3 seconds to go, and he will run the timeout on this period. It's been a while since we could say at home that the RedHawks are down 1, and it probably should have been more, but that was the case in this first period. Miami gets outshot 14-2. Got flat out outworked in the first period this weekend. They only find themselves down a goal. That is the fortunate news for this RedHawks team. And Jeff, we've kind of already discussed it. Penalties really hampered the start for Miami early on as Omaha got 3 power plays. They didn't convert on any of them, but they really prevented Miami a chance to get their legs under them, and that really showed in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, and I think at the very least you're optimistic because, I mean, you were in Denver, you're down a goal in the second period, and Denver gets about 20 shots before you get one in that second period. And then in the third period you come out, you give up a goal, which was not optimal, but you come out and you showed that within the last 10 minutes of that period you can scratch your way back, and you know, 1 goal deficit, 1 shot can change this game, and I think that's what they have to focus on at this point. I mean, obviously I'm sure the players are frustrated. Ryan Sullivan looked pretty frustrated that Johnny Waldron wasn't really hustling to the puck down here in the corner with time running out, but yeah, I mean, it's got to be a completely different team in the second period.
After 1 here from Cady Arena, it's Omaha 1 and Miami 0. Jeff and I back for the second period. Puck drop in just a little bit. For now, we send it over to Andrew Relvas with our Red Hawk Radio Intermission Report.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Luke. Tough first period here for the RedHawks. They are trailing the Omaha Mavericks 1-0 here after the end of 1. 14 shots on goal compared to only 2 for the RedHawks. Man, just a brutal first period here for Miami. They didn't really bring the energy, and that's kind of been a trend we've seen all throughout this entire season. You know, you hope because it's the last home series of the season, you can potentially switch it up, but the effort just wasn't there for the RedHawks. And hopefully next period they can turn it around, because things were pretty bleak here for the RedHawks. But they've had chances. They unfortunately couldn't convert on them. And overall, though, just tough first period here for the RedHawks. But overall, one guy where you got to feel good about yourself if you're a Miami fan, it's been the Bruno Bruveris show. 14 shots on goal, and he has saved 13 of them. Bruno Bruveris, I'm telling you, this kid is going to be something huge here for the RedHawks upcoming the next few years. You won't have Logan Neaton next year, but you plug in Bruno Bruveris, and this guy is going to be so good here for the RedHawks. He's only a freshman, and he is only going to get so much better for Miami. But, yeah, just overall a tough first period, and, you know, could be a lot worse, like Luke was saying. Hopefully the next period is a little bit different here for the RedHawks. In terms of power plays, Omaha 0 for 3, Miami 0 for 1. I'm telling you, the RedHawks, they do a great job in front of the net, especially on the power play. Maybe not an odd man rush, but when it's even and the transition is there, the RedHawks, they're a good defensive team. I love the pressure they put. They get a ton of blocks in front of the net. That's exactly what Miami needs. They need those type of efforts, those type of plays from your defense. Just got to put a body in front of the puck, play some lockdown defense, and just try and slow down this Omaha Mavericks attack. But I keep telling you, this team's all offense, and they got a ton of shooters that you got to look out for. You're not going to shut them out, but if you can slow them down here, it's potentially a job well done here if they can get that done. Overall, though, to only shoot twice on net is unacceptable here for the RedHawks. And I'm sure Coach Bergeron is trying to put that fire in this team. Got to come out strong, got to come out shooting and at least threaten the net. You have to do that if you want to win the game here. Get your first win in about a month and a half if you're Miami. Talk about top 25 scores from across the country. A packed night of college hockey from the top 25 matchups. The end of one, Boston College on tied with New Hampshire 1-1 after one. Number 1 versus 17 ranked New Hampshire. It's a real battle up north on the East Coast. Another really fun matchup there after one. 1-1 is the score. Boston College trying to continue their strong season. After one, number 7 ranked Quinnipiac versus Clarkson tied 0-0. Fun one out there in Connecticut as well. Here's a potential upset alert. Maine trailing Vermont 1-0 after one. Number 9 ranked Maine Bears trailing the Catamounts on the road. We'll see if Vermont can get the upset W. They're at home for them. After one, a high-scoring game in the Ivy League. Princeton Tigers trailing St. Lawrence 3-2. Princeton trailing by 1 at home. Number 10 ranked Princeton Tigers just trying to keep pace in the Ivy League. Cornell right on their trails. Should be a fun one to rest to go in that one. Cornell versus Union, 14:45 left to go in the first period. 1-1 is the score. Big Red once again just trying to keep pace with Princeton. Ivy League is so fun for college hockey, and it's another big game that Cornell has to win if they want to stay on top. UMass versus UMass Lowell. Minutemen facing off against UMass Lowell. The score is tied 0-0, 2:25 left to go in the first. We'll see if UMass can continue their strong season on the road. And this is the only other top 25 game, Omaha versus Miami. The rest of the games are set to begin at about 8 o'clock, so about 15 minutes. Western Michigan, North Dakota, Denver versus St. Cloud State, and then the Big Ten matchups, Michigan State, Wisconsin, Michigan, Minnesota, and then Minnesota, Duluth, and Colorado College at 9 o'clock. So a full slate of NCHC matchups. Arizona State as well. Gonna be in the NCHC next year. Keep an eye on them for this season. Look, we'll go back to the stat sheet and see how the RedHawks and the Omaha Mavericks are doing here. First of all, the only goal scored was a Proctor goal. Great one at that. Kirby Proctor was able to snipe one in on the far side, hit one post, hit another, and then finally went in. Huge goal that gave Omaha the lead. It was probably about 4 minutes left to go in the first period. Odd man rush for Omaha. They had so many chances, but Kirby Proctor able to put one in on net, and that gave Omaha a 1-0 lead here in the end of the first period. In terms of shots, leading the Omaha Mavericks, it is actually tied. LeMay, Erdehall, Krenzen, Muller, Bremer, and Randall all have 2 shots on goal out of the 14. So a pretty well-balanced shooting effort from the Omaha Mavericks. That's exactly what you want to see if you're an Omaha fan, and that's just how you play winning hockey. You get all these guys involved, and yeah, I named off like 6 or 7 Omaha skaters who have been really applying the pressure. Doesn't matter their name, doesn't matter their number. They have been all over the ice and making life tough here for Bruno Bruveris and this RedHawks defense. In terms of shots as well, not shots on goal, it's a tight effort for Brock Bremer and Krenzen. Those two going at it with 3 shots apiece as they continue to force pressure on this RedHawks defense, who has been really good on even strength, but I'm telling you, on this odd man rush, when the RedHawks get down, they're trailing in terms of body speed. That's when life gets tough for them, and Omaha clearly the better team in the first period. For the RedHawks, only 2 shots on goal. PJ Fletcher and Hampus Rydquist were the 2 shooters here for the RedHawks. Gotta be better. Gotta at least threaten the cage. I'm telling you right now, their goalie, Lakotsky, can probably just pick up a lawn chair and relax inside Coach Cady Arena. Obviously a little bit exaggerated there, but it's been easy living here for Lakotsky. Omaha's made it real nice for him, and it's been a tough day at the office on the other side for Bruno Bruveris. He's pretty much every moment of the first period he's been threatened with some form of shot. But hopefully the RedHawks can flip it over and take him down. In terms of blocks, the RedHawks have 5, and Omaha has 1. Jack Clement, good defender, is playing well. Axel Kumlin as well. Hampus Rydquist and John Waldron both have blocks, so they're doing some good things defensively. And, you know, I will say this. Despite the fact that Omaha's had 3 chances on the penalty, the RedHawks have shut that down pretty effectively. So if there's one positive you want to talk about, I would say it's that. You know, shots on goal, obviously Omaha took advantage of you, but for the penalty kill, you just play lockdown defense. You put your head down, you do your job, and you go from there. Definitely a positive for the RedHawks facing off against the Omaha Mavericks, who, like Luke and Jeff have been talking about all broadcast long, their offense top tier in the NCHC, and you know, no power play goal given up. It's definitely a step in the right direction. But hopefully a much different second period effort here by Miami. Gotta flip the script, gotta apply the pressure, make life tough for Lakotsky and this Omaha defense. And it all starts with those face-offs. In terms of face-off wins, 5 for Omaha, 10 for the RedHawks. was Daskus leading the day for Miami. Nielsen as well, and John Waldron both have 2 apiece. So, you know, they've been winning those face-offs. They've been applying all the pressure. It's just coming back on defense and doing your job. RedHawks have not done that. They haven't applied pressure. That's why the score is 1-0. So after Kirby Proctor goal at the closing stages of the first period, making it 1-0, the RedHawks will hopefully flip the script here and give their fans something to cheer for in a pretty packed Coach Cady Arena tonight. Second to last home game of the season. But yeah, get this arena rocking, get these fans into it, and get your first win of the season in about a month and a half. It'll be tough. Omaha, one of the best teams in the country. Hopefully Miami can flip the script here from Oxford and have a much better second period effort. I'll step away, hand it over to Luke and Jeff for the second period. You're listening to Miami Hockey here on Red Hawk Radio. Stay tuned for more action from Coach Cady Arena. My name is Andrew Relvas. I'll be back for the second period intermission break. Thanks so much. See you soon.
All set to go for our second period here from Cady Arena. Luke West, Poley, Jeff Middleton with you as Miami trails Omaha 1-0 after one period of play. Just to clear things up, Kirby Proctor, by the way, was given that goal late in the first period. Came at the 18:29 mark of the first. Jack Randall, Tanner Lukey get the assist. Took them a little while to get that all sorted out, but it was Proctor's goal who shot it in from the left point. Jeff, shots sometimes tell the story, sometimes they don't. They did pretty well in that first period. Don't need any sort of advanced analytics. 14-2, the Omaha advantage. And we talked about it heading out of the period. Miami's got to feel very, very fortunate, as they probably did last weekend against Denver after that second period on Friday night, that they're only down a goal.
Yeah, and Bruno Braveras was once again just fantastic. He was unbelievable in that period. He has been for most of the season that he's been in the starters crease. But you're right, Luke. I mean, it's 14-2 right now in shots. The Mavericks are up 23-3 in shot attempts. It was just no offense whatsoever from Miami. There were a couple times where they got into the zone, but then they had a pass blocked or a pass sent out. It was not pretty, and they need to get their feet moving here to start the second period, because if they don't, then this is going to be a really ugly rest of the game.
RedHawks in the white uniforms with the red script, Miami across the front, the red pants, white socks, red gloves, and white helmets as the RedHawks move it left to right. Omaha in the all blacks with the white and red accents. White Omaha block text across the front. They move it right to left in the middle period. It's going to take a whole heck of a lot more energy for this Miami team in period number 2. See if they have it. We're skating 5-on-5 coming out of the break. Raymond Vitalins is up against Ty Muller on the opening faceoff. Vitalins has the advantage as the RedHawks win it, and we are underway in the second period. It's Jack Clement controlling for the RedHawks defensive side of the blue line. Plays it ahead, and P.J. Fletcher tips it into the Omaha zone. Vitalins upends.
That wasn't a trip.
That should have been a tripping penalty on Muller. The Omaha bench was a little hot with it. He got the stick right into the skates, but that allows the RedHawks to get the puck on the forecheck. Vitalins up for Clement. He will wrist this one on in. It rolls along the dasher over to the far wall, where the wall is sealed by Moulton. It's thrown out in front, but it is deflected by Omaha over to Randall out of harm's way, and now flying down the far side. A dragon shot by Mancini and a save by Braveras. 40 seconds in, he holds on in this second period. Could have made it 2-0. Instead, stays 1-0 Mavericks.
And you got Moulton caught pinching in along the wall in the offensive zone, forces P.J. Fletcher to come back and play defense. And Unsurprisingly, a forward on defense got walked, but a great shot and a better save by Relvas. That was a hard wrist shot. It just kind of went right into him.
So the faceoff is on the right wing side of the Omaha offensive zone. Nolan Sullivan, their captain, centering the second line, wins the draw. And the puck comes up to the left point where Krenzen will spin it in deep. Around the boards to the far side, now Waldron gets knocked off his feet and loses the puck. Luckily, Nielsen is there to recover it, and now it's Waldron once again. He sends a hopping puck that will make its way out of the zone and back out to center. Krenzen backs it into his own end and now heads forward. He hooks up with Erdahl, who flies down the left side. Erdahl now drags and shoots. That's deflected over the cage. Waldron on the left side can't clear the zone, and Omaha bangs it back in deep. Miami still looks a step slow to begin this second period through the first minute 13. RedHawks do have possession. It's Strasner ahead for Reiquist. Reiquist lost the puck. He could have had a rush down the ice, but instead it will find Gavin, who will circle his own net. Over to the far wing. It's now played rink wide for Griffin Lutke, trying to give it through space, but the RedHawks intercept it. Was Waldron that got in the way. Miller now pushing to the far side. And Omaha will head back up the near wing. It's Glenn rimming it around to the RedHawks zone to the far wing. Brock Bremer, 5'5", 140 pounds. He's got it for a moment in the far corner before the RedHawk reinforcements arrive and will flood it back out to center ice. Lutke over to the far wing. It is tipped in by the Mavericks and Jimmy Glenn. RedHawks back to get it in their own zone. Sullivan up ahead. It's banked by Daskis for Dukovac. He leaves back for Daskis down the right wing, entering the zone. Daskis throws it across. Might have got tipped. It ended up high in the air and up against the far wall.
You got to shoot the puck there, Daskis. I know you want to make that extra pass, but frankly, you don't have enough shots to warrant making that extra pass.
Shot sent in by Glenn off the rush is blocked in front, and now it's chipped forward. Dukovac can't handle it down cleanly. Going down the ice, this will go for icing. Dukovac throwing his hands up. That was a dead heat getting to the puck, and the RedHawks will have to back it into their own end. 17:38 to go in the second period. Still 1-0 Omaha.
Yeah, not sure I agree with that icing call, but either way, that play kind of summarizes what's been happening so far. I mean, even on plays where Miami gets possession or they find an open man, it just feels like the puck is either a little bit too far or it's in the skates, or on that play specifically, Dukovac probably had a breakaway if he was able to smack that one out of the air, but it just hasn't happened right now.
RedHawks with a takeaway. It's Dukovac up ahead. He's got nobody helping him out, and so he'll just dump in and go for a change.
Also got no gas.
Yeah, he goes off as well as it was following an icing. Takeaway, though, is a sloppy turnover in the Omaha end, as the Mavericks, though, will take it back with Taransky working 1-on-3 of sorts, and it's headed up the far side by Rollwagon. Trying to give a drop pass. He was poked off the puck. Now it's banked through, and this will not go for icing as Lakozzi's out of the net. Plays it up the near wall. Vitalins couldn't settle the puck down, and Proctor will bank it off the end boards for Slipik. He will now fire this one down, and this one will not be icing as it rings to the near side. Rollwagon down the left wing shoots. It was likely tracking wide. Caught the stick knob of Berveris, and the puck is in the far corner. Barbolini upends his man and grabs the puck, giving back for Clement. He will now float it forward for Vitalins. Cross the center red. He dumps. Lakozzi out of his net. Shovels it back to the near wing. Proctor directs it further. Vitalins cuts it off, but is stripped to the puck by Tanner Lutke. He'll knock it off the glass, and it's Randall down the left wing. Randall looking towards the middle, looking for Muller. Throws it there. It's sticked aside. Still alive as a second attempt was given by Randall, but the RedHawks pick it off. And it is Fletcher who will dump it in for Miami as the RedHawks go for changes. So we're starting to see that pace a little bit that we saw in the first period pick back up, as Randall handed it off for Muller, but the RedHawks had plenty of defenders back to take it away. Drasner now will circle his own net as he is heavily stick-checked, and Muller will finally pull it away, but Drasner has it back as he whacks it into the Omaha end. Lakozzi plays it to the far side for Tanner Lutke. Nielsen steals it away on the forecheck, shovels it in front. Sullivan tracked it down. His backhanded attempt is easily stopped by Lakozzi. Played back up the far wall. Drasner in front for Sullivan. Another backhanded try, deflected high in the air and back to the near corner. Sullivan has had a heck of a shift, lays another hit, and it's gloved down at the near point by Nielsen as Miami holds once more. It's Sullivan in the corner, up for Waldron. His shot from a sharp angle turned aside. Sullivan throws his man off the puck and will grab it and give up to the point. Reiquist on the right side, threw it across right into the skates there of Lutke, but it came right back to him. Behind the net, Nielsen gets checked off the puck, and it's back behind the net once more and up the far side for the Mavericks onto the stick
Ryan
of
Sullivan
LeMay.
is still out there.
He tried to shovel it in front, but
Yeah,
it is
that's not a good
finally
play.
knocked to neutral ice by the Mavericks. RedHawks, though, do get it right back in, and it's Waldron across. His passing attempt, though, was cut off, and the Mavericks can take it the other way, but now they'll double it back to their own end as Brock Bremer mishandled. Bremer gives it through traffic. It takes a deflection, finds the target, cross ice, they score from one end to the other in an instant. And a feed onto the back door found Jimmy Glynn with the whole net to shoot at. Omaha doubles their lead, 14-51, I should say, into the second period. It's 2-1 Mavericks.
Yeah.
After arguably your strongest shift of the game for Miami.
Yeah, I was just about to say, like, Ryan Sullivan, I mean, we've talked to Coach Bergeron numerous amounts of times this year about Ryan Sullivan and the energy that he brings to this team. And frankly, right now, he's the only player outside of the first line that looks like he's trying with consistent effort. That's getting the pucks first, that's making these quick plays, getting himself open. You can't have 4 guys against the number 18 team in the league, in the NCAA, playing at the fast pace that Omaha's playing at. It just can't happen because you're going to go down 2-0 and you have a good shift, and then they come right down and score on a one-timer. It's frustrating.
16-4 the shots, 2-0 Omaha, and Jimmy Glynn's goal. That is his 6th of the year, equaling his assist tally as well. Assists go to Jesse Lansdale and Brock Bremer at 5:09 of the second. Miami's got an offensive zone draw right now on the right wing side. Blake Messenberg taking it, and Messenberg wins it, but a takeaway for the Mavericks, and Foose skates it back out to center before he stripped of the puck. Simonovic's up ahead for Tanyan. Baser down the left wing. Baser shoots, and that's sticked up into the protective netting. And with 14:26 to go, and Miami trailing 2-0, we get another stoppage, and Chris Bergeron's going to keep that line out there, switch the defensemen as it's Moulton and Clement on with Lagerbach, Baser, and Messenberg.
Yeah, already a better shift for that fourth line than anything we saw in the first period. Nope, looks like they're going off.
Yeah, it was a late change, and yeah, they will.
I was going to see who was coming out for the Mavericks. It'll be second line for the Mavericks, first line for the RedHawks.
Omaha wins the draw on their own end. It's Erdahl now in the near corner. He gets pinned by Fletcher. Mavericks still with it, and Griffin Ludke will spin it to the far side for Jacob Gavin. Gavin skating it back to the near wing and circling in the corner. Now he skates it out in front of his own net, shielding off Vitalin's with a takeaway, and Vitalin's now will hit the brakes in the far corner. Vitalin's up for Moulton, dangerous pass, finds the target, the wrister goes wide, and off the end wall, the deflection back out in front. Lacosi pounces on it and holds on with 14 minutes to go in the second. And Omaha, as well as they've played, Jeff, they have looked like they haven't really been super careful with the puck in their own zone at times.
Yeah, I would agree. It's been pretty sloppy to start this period for them. I think in the first period you saw a lot of, especially since once they get in the offensive zone, they whip that puck around just with lightning speed. But when it's getting out of their own zone, especially this period, that's been kind of an issue. They've had a couple of turnovers, and credit the Miami forecheckers. Even in the first period, they did pretty well to pry the puck away from the defenseman.
Just like that, Omaha gets it off the face-off and gets it into the RedHawk end as Miami will look to take it back out, and Moulton throws it to nobody through center, but now an attempt the other way misses the target. Icing is waved off as the puck is in the far corner of the RedHawk defensive zone. Jack Clement working on it for Miami, and now P.J. Fletcher will play it behind the RedHawk net where Moulton's got space. Moulton handles and gives off for Vitalin's, cutting it across the center red. And now dancing through the blue, threaded 2 defenders. Vitalin's leaves it out for Fletcher in the left corner. Vitalin's now dancing out in front, trying to pull the trigger and whiffed. Has his own rebound, and a shot got deflected. Maybe hit off the leg pad of Lacosi, but just ended up wide. That was a heck of an effort by Raymond's Vitalin's, as now Omaha grabs it and will clear. Into the RedHawk zone it goes. Berveris behind his net will pull it to the near wing for Hampus Ryquist. Ryquist crossed the ice for Robbie Drasner, who mishandled it along the far boards but recovers. Back for Ryquist on the near wing. Touch pass for Waldron, who moseys down the near side. Waldron hits the stop sign in the corner. Back up right point for Ryquist. His wrister through traffic, deflected by Nielsen. Right pad saved by Lacosi. Taking it up the other way. A big hit is laid by Hampus Ryquist, and a 3-on-2 the other way for Miami. But Rehnquist's pass didn't hook up cleanly with Sullivan. Redhawks still with it, though. Rehnquist in the near corner will circle the net, trying to wrap it around. Where's the puck? Redhawks say it's in. Official disagrees, and it is frozen. So the Miami crowd is booing. It looked like Licozzi didn't quite get the skate up against the post the way he wanted to. I'm sure this will be reviewed. It's already getting looked at up in the booth with 12:23 to go in the second period. That looked like a really awkward angle to take for Licozzi in the Omaha net when he was trying to get from left to right and seal the post. We'll have to see if that puck actually entered the net, but the call on the ice is no goal, and it would take a lot to overturn that, given that the official was right on top of it. So we've reached immediate timeout. We'll stay here just for review's sake, as the officials have gone into the penalty box of the monitor. Brian Hankes is going to put the headset on. They will take a look at this. I know you're trying to get a replay on, Jeff. Are you seeing anything that could overturn right now?
Nothing right now. I looked at the initial play. It didn't look like there was clear evidence of it going over the goal line. But obviously the angle that we have up here is far less, how do you say it?
Conclusive?
Yeah, conclusive. Yeah. There you go. It's far less zoomed in. Let's
yes,
go with that.
Yes. Yeah, the official, I mean, like we said, he was basically hanging over top of the net from behind when he said no goal. So the only way you'd think that it was a goal was that Licozzi took a really weird route to that in the Omaha net. You know, you typically are just pushing straight across as a goalie. It looked like he didn't really realize that Rehnquist was trying to wrap that around, and so he kind of pushed himself into his own net, and the majority of his body was in the net when he made that save. And it's just a question of whether or not that pad really got over and sealed the post, or whether or not the pad was actually pulled back a little bit into the net. Puck's got to completely cross the goal line.
Yeah.
Officials are still looking at this, so
part of me,
I mean, maybe it's a little closer than we thought.
Yeah, I was going to say part of me thinks that maybe his pad went over the goal line, but still, I mean, we've seen goals in, at every level where the pad goes over the goal line, but you can't conclusively tell that where the puck is.
You have to, that's the key here, is that you have to see the puck cross the goal line. If you see the puck disappear under the pad and then the pad goes into the net, you cannot call that a goal off replay. Here's our replay review. Yeah, they confirm the call, so that indeed means that not only does it stand, but they in fact saw that the puck did not enter the net.
Yeah.
So nothing comes of that. That takes us out of the immediate timeout, and there will be a left wing side face-off as Miami can put the guys back on. Nielsen, Sullivan, and Waldron, and this has been something of an energy line for Chris Bergeron.
You know what? At the very least, you can take out of that shift is that you can score on this goalie. You can generate offense. You can play at the speed of these Mavericks. You can do that, and they've needed that. They've needed that kind of shift, and they got one right there.
Back in the Red Hawk end, Miami regrouping, and now quickly forward. This is Nielsen down the left wing. Short pass for Waldron, trying to give back up for Nielsen, but it was knocked away. Played back out in front by the Red Hawks and Dempsey, but it's taken by Omaha. They'll skate it the other direction. In the far corner, it's now Lutke in the circle. Throws it out in front, sliding all over the place. Braveris didn't know where the puck was, but it ends up wide. There's stuff going on in the public address right now. I think there's a mistake with that. Meanwhile, a shot through was deflected from Mancini by Randall in front. Another nice save by Braveris. At the left point, it is sealed by Mancini, but Sullivan whacks at it and does get it free, at least to the neutral zone, as Miami can get some fresh bodies on the ice. Erdahl down the left wing, chips it, looking for himself, but Dempsey got in the way. Puck ends up behind the Red Hawk net, where it's Kumlin behind the Miami cage to the far wing. Over for Taransky, and Dukovac nearly got blown up, but a good job there to pull up by Mancini, as Dukovac didn't really touch the puck. He was getting lined up, but avoids the interference call. Now Mancini with a nice move around Dukovac, steps into the zone, and the puck disappeared for a moment, ends up trickling down the right side wall behind the Red Hawk net. Now it's Dukovac in the right corner, shoveling, rolls along the dasher, and it's Jack Clement from the near side. Plays one through center that took a Red Hawk deflection, but behind the center red, it will go just wide of the net and down for icing with 10:42 to go in the second period. It's 2-0 Omaha.
Yeah, and I think this is where the frustration starts to set in for fans and for coaches alike, I'm sure, is you have a chance, you have a good shift, you have a really good shift, and it generates a play that could have been a goal. It was almost a goal, but it didn't conclusively cross the goal line. And then you don't sit back, but you kind of, you give Omaha a chance to take advantage, and right now it's gone from Miami has a couple good shifts in a row and really starts to generate something back to Omaha has the puck a lot of the time. And that can't happen.
Taransky missed the puck as it went in to the Omaha end, and so Lutke will record the takeaway, and his pass missed Glenn. This will go down for icing on Omaha, something that hasn't happened with tremendous frequency, but a couple of times Mavericks have missed. For the most part, they've been very crisp at getting the puck around. It's back to the Maverick defensive zone with 10:14 to go in the second period. 2-0 lead for the road team. And Miami will throw out Barbolini, Fletcher, Vitalins, Ryquist, Drasner.
Yeah, not a surprise. This has been their best line tonight so far. Pretty much the only consistent line. I mean, that's the third line with, or sorry, the second line with Nilsson, Waldron, and Sullivan has been really good as well. But this first line, they've come out really hard and forechecked well and created a lot of turnovers. And now they just need to get these chances to keep coming.
Drasner with a turnaround shot got blocked. Vitalins gloves it down to the far side. A shot by Sullivan. Save made.
Oh, here we go.
Check that, Fletcher. And it's held on to, and now Fletcher gets into a shoving match with Glenn on the right side of the Maverick net. See if any penalties come out of this. Off initial indication, it doesn't look like any will.
You know, I got a lot of respect for Brock Bremer at 5'5", 140 for going in there with B.J. Fletcher, who is 6'2", 185 pounds. Barbolini's in there somewhere. Because why wouldn't he be? He's always in there.
Those are big kids, too.
Yeah. I think 5'5" might be the shortest player we've seen all year, Luke.
Yeah, I think so.
5'5", 140. Little Matthew Phillips action.
Yeah, little
shout out to Matthew.
NCHC Rocco Grimaldi was like that for North Dakota.
Yeah. Predators legend,
he
Rocco
was a
Grimaldi.
Preds legend. Puck squirts out in the neutral zone following the faceoff.
He had a 4-goal game one time.
He was very good.
Nice
Underrated,
shot.
I think, in the NHL. Barbolini's shot on the right side is blockered away. You can see the NCHC logo as the puck floats up near our height back past center ice. Ryquist gets forechecked and turns it over at neutral ice, but the RedHawks do recover it as Barbolini was back checking. Miami's closed the shots gap a little bit, still trailing pretty heavily at 19-8, but it wasn't as bad as it once was. RedHawks down 2-0 on the scoreboard. Fletcher with a nice move gets through. And now we'll circle at the point up for Drasner. His wrister is wide. Vitalins got Pride down in front, and Miami will go on the power play. All right, well, it's something with 9:18 to go in the second period. I mean, that line is at least making something happen for this group right now. We will get a cross-checking call on Victor Mancini. The New York Rangers draft choice heads off to sit 2 for cross-checking as he knocked over Raymond Vitalins in front of the net away from the puck. Miami goes to the power play for the second time. Their first trip to the man advantage lasted about a minute before they took a penalty. Did not really generate anything.
Yeah, and that's Omaha. It's one of Omaha's top pairing defensemen that's in the box right now, so you've got to take advantage. He's a big kid, too, 6'4", 215. So with presumably someone that's going to get a lot of playing time for Omaha, you got to take advantage here on this power play. Try and set up something.
Lost the face-off, and the Mavericks cleared it. RedHawks have it back into the offensive end. It's Fletcher up top center point. Room for Kumlin. His shot wired wide off the dasher and up into the protective netting. Lukosi lost his stick. Man, those Swedish defensemen have cannons back there.
They do.
27 seconds into the power play with Miami down 2-0 to Omaha. They will switch up to the second unit, which is Waldron, Sullivan, Barbolini up front with Vitalins and Simonovics on the back end. Check that Vitalins is going to switch with Barbolini here for the face-off just to take the draw.
You watch Simon Lukosi play. He's super scrambly. He made a name for himself at the World Juniors a couple years ago when he was 18. He was, you know, the main reason Team Slovakia made it as far as they did, and he was just fantastic. But he reminds me a lot of Yaroslav Askarov, you know, just super athletic goaltender. He catches right-handed too, which helps that case, at that argument at least. But he's super kind of everywhere in his crease when he's trying to hunt pucks down. He's a fun goalie to watch.
Redhawks have it played to the far side. Vitalin's missed a wide open net. Rebound, Waldron scores. Vitalin's was banging his stick on the far side. He missed a wide open net wide of the cage. But finally a lucky bounce for the Redhawks. It bounces back out in front. And on the near post, John Waldron awaiting to tuck that one in for the Redhawks as he picks up goal number 9 on the year. The sophomore from Batavia, Illinois, makes it 2-1. It's a power play goal for the Redhawks with 8:32 to go in the second period.
Yeah, just a miscommunication from two of the Omaha penalty killers there trying to get the puck, and Matthew Barbolini takes it from between them and finds Vitalin's on the other side, and Vitalin's tries to just pick a corner and fires it wide and then slams his stick hard in the dot, and then by the time he turns around, Waldron's fired it into the net off the wall, off the bounce from the wall. So a weird play, but a good power play nonetheless.
So Miami converts on the power play for second straight weekend, and now the Redhawks have it back into the offensive end with a renewed sense of life. Out in front, Dukovac swung at it, and it was deflected wide. Clement on it now for Miami, plays behind the Maverick net for Daskis. Up top, Moulton's shot. That one lasers wide left of the cage. Clement tries to throw it on from a bad angle, and that got blocked down by Mancini. And the Mavericks, who are reeling a little bit now, will clear. So Miami has not seen this much momentum all game long, but the Redhawks are on the Mavericks a little bit here, as it is Moulton with plenty of speed down the right side, a 3-on-3. Moulton stops and throws it. It goes wide from just inside the blue. Taransky trying to work on the forecheck with two Mavericks, but the numbers win, and Omaha will float it down. Moulton crossed the ice for Kumlin. It is Waldron from Vitalin's and Barbolini at 11:28 of the second period for Miami to make it a 2-1 hockey game. Dukovac tips it, and he pays a heavy price as Mancini lays into him. He's laid a couple nice hits in this game. Omaha back with it. It's Tanner Lutke down the right side. His shot from the bottom of the circle, chest saved by Berveris. It's right back to him, and now he circles up to the left point. Lutke backhands it off for LeMay, and now put into the corner. It's sent further along to Lutke on the far flank. Back up top, LeMay right point, walking the line. Dukovac swatted at the puck and missed. LeMay's shot from the center point is in on Berveris and gloved. He holds on with 6:56 to go in the second period. We've got to immediate timeout, and Miami has found some life here in the second period as John Waldron picks up his 9th goal of the year on the power play. The Redhawks are within one. It's 2-1 Mavericks headed into the late goings of the middle frame. We're back after this. You're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. With 6:56 to go in the second period, it's Omaha 2, Miami 1. Luke West-Poley and Jeff Middleton with you as the Redhawks ready for a defensive zone face-off following a power play goal by John Waldron. After Miami went down 2-0, the Redhawks brought themselves back into it with Waldron's 9th of the season on the power play. Man advantage goal number 16 for the Redhawks this year. Face-off win by the Mavericks in the offensive zone. It's LeMay down the left wing, skating it into the corner. Draft choice of the Washington Capitals. Circles it and throws it in behind. Now it's played near the near post by Nolan Sullivan, the captain of this Maverick team, but he lost control, and the Redhawks clear it out past center. A tire is blown back in his own zone by Nolan Krenzen, but he still gives it up ahead, and the Mavericks will lead it down the wing. Sullivan's first dump-in attempt wasn't clean. Muller grabs the loose puck and heads in. Check that was Miller for the Mavericks, and he skates it in offside with a couple of stragglers that entered the zone early on. 6:30 to go, second period. Shots are still heavily in Omaha's favor, 21-9, and they lead 2-1.
You'll take 7 shots in the period, though,
Yeah.
considering what happened in the first. And these, I think that more importantly, the shots that they're getting have been high quality. I think you take 7 high quality chances over, 12 where 7 are from the point, like we've seen before and for these RedHawks.
Yeah, shots are 7-7 in this period right now after a 14-2 start to the game for Omaha. Miami's got it in the offensive end. Forecheck has been delaying the Mavericks from getting it out below their own goal line. But now they will flutter it out past center, and Dempsey lays a big hit, but a 2-on-1 opens up for the Mavericks. Hitting the brakes and hitting the trailer, Lutke spins and can't connect, and now a 2-on-1 the other way for the RedHawks. It's Fletcher and Barbolini. Glynn on the back check, and he takes it off the stick of Fletcher. Nice move to take that one away. RedHawks do grab the clearing attempt as it's Dempsey rink wide. It is right between the wickets of Kumlin on the feed, and the Mavericks back it into their own end. Well, that was a great back check.
Yeah, and P.J. Fletcher, as much as he's skilled, he's not the fastest guy on this Miami team, so it's not really a surprise to see him get caught there, unfortunately.
Randall gets hit off the puck trying to dangle his way to the net front. Still has it, and again is dangling, and Dempsey just walls him off. Muller gets to the loose puck, but now Daskis drills him. Dukovac on the near half wall directs back into the corner for Daskis. He'll play it in behind for Dempsey, skating to the far wall, and Dempsey will knock it off the glass and get hit hard as the RedHawks clear it. This is a Maverick team that we've already talked about their physicality. It's kind of a different type of physicality, though, as they head down the right side. It's Randall from the top of the circle, waiting and shooting, saved by Barveris, and he holds on as the loose puck trickled free for a second, but he covers it with 4:54 to go in the second period. Mavericks still leading 2-1. This is a shockingly small Mavericks team, considering how much physicality they play with. It's not the St. Cloud State type of physicality where there's 6'4" guys all over the ice that can really throw the body around. These are just guys that are between as small as 5'5", upwards of, a few guys over 6 foot, but really a lot of guys under that just really stick their nose in there.
Let's say, looking at this roster, I don't see a player. I see Victor Mancini 6'4", and I think he's their tallest guy. I see a couple 6'3s, but most of them are pretty average for hockey player height. 6'1", 6'2", but yeah, like you said, a lot of
Yeah, big hit on Simonovic, and this might bring a major. He got drilled right from behind by Ray Fust. And
Drasner and Barbolini are not happy.
Yeah, the RedHawks were not happy, and rightfully so. I mean, we'll take a look at this.
Especially that's a freshman, too. It's
yeah, Simonovic he's a pretty big body, and he's pretty strong on his feet. But that hit looked pretty bad live.
Oh, yeah, wow.
He was about 4 or 5 feet off the wall, and he got hit right in the numbers. It's announced as a 2. I'm a little surprised if they don't at least look at this here.
Yeah, he dumped the puck in his head. He put himself in a little bit of a vulnerable position. Yeah. He turned his body, but no, there was no hesitation. No hesitation from Fust on that play. It was just, he's. Simonovic's brought it in, and he just, I'm a little shocked that they're.
Yeah, I'm really surprised.
Could have been charging too
at least
the very least.
At.
1, 2, yeah, he takes about 3 or 4 strides into him, and I'm a little bit shocked that they're not doing more about this, but such is hockey, I guess.
So it is a 2-minute power play. The penalty goes to Fust. RedHawks are 1 for 3 on the game, 1 for 2. Check that on the game. And they've scored on their only full-length power play. Omaha does get it out to neutral ice to begin the man advantage. And it is Simonovic to the far side for Vitalins. Miami will now get it back in with speed as a sauce towards the front of the net got deflected on, and Lacosi has to grab it out of the air. It was Barbolini trying to sauce it in for Waldron, and he just kind of fluttered one up shoulder high. And the defenseman that was back, it looked like that was maybe Proctor that was back there for Omaha, tried to knock it out of the air to prevent it from getting to Waldron, and actually knocked it further up in the air and onto the net, but Lacosi was ready for it, and he holds on 21 seconds into the power play.
Part of me always wonders with those kind of hits, just to go back to that, if Simonovics had stayed down and was hurt, would they have done something about it? That always, even in like NHL and other college games, it always makes me curious. Like how much the effect of a player being hurt on the play has on what the referees do with the call.
Played out in front, a deflection by Sullivan and a save by Lacosi, and it's cleared down. That was a nice play out in front. I will say in USA Hockey rules it does matter. However, in the college and NHL level, technically by the book, it really shouldn't.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's arguments for both sides of that, obviously.
Oof.
Waldron got crunched as he dumps it in. And LeMay with it on the far side. He'll play it high off the glass and down. RedHawks have gotten a couple of chances on this power play. So we are into the final 50 seconds of it with 3:25 to go in the second period.
Ooh.
Kumlin nearly gave that one away in his own end, and now Fletcher further makes things an issue as he directs it in behind. But Braveris plays a little interference game out in front, and the RedHawks will break it out of their own zone. Fletcher straight down the middle, shoots, and a save made out of the air. Lacosi.
There's that right-handed catching glove.
That's blocker side. That's a really high percentage shot from that area against 99% of goalies. But that's high glove against Lacosi, who catches right. And that's a baseball type of play. He holds with 3:08 to go in the second. 31 left in the man advantage with Miami still down 2-1.
Just want to add a little bit. I love that Bruno Braveris, you said he was playing interference down here, and he did, and then he tapped him just a little bit and then looked towards the ref and put his hand up and was like, I didn't do that. I didn't do that.
Every goalie plays that game. Proctor down the right side following the faceoff win. Plays it down low for Glynn. And now this is Miller just trying to kill some more time below the RedHawk goal cage. And gets it free to himself and will now play it up the left wing. Miller just went 1 against 3 and 1. And Omaha can now pull this back into their own end and run the remaining time off this power play. It's Proctor from the near circle. Miami is not really pressuring. And the penalty ends. Now Nielsen knocks a pass out of the air. That'll force Mancini back into the corner of the zone. He'll bank it out past center where Ryquist gets to it.
It's going to be an icing.
He tucks this one ahead and was inches short of the red line, but that is icing as it will go down with 2:28 to go in the second period. Mavericks lead at 2-1. We're back to 5-on-5. Omaha will elect to take this on the left wing side of the offensive zone, and they've got their top line out there, Jack Randall, Ty Muller, and Tanner Lutke, with Griffin Lutke and Jacob Gavin on the back end.
We've got, looks like all three forwards are from different lines after that icing. Dukovac, Nilsson, and Fletcher. Those are lines 1 through 3.
And the RedHawks
all represented.
Yeah, they won the face-off, but just iced it again. So they'll have to go back into their own end and sit on this. And there's some hands on knees right now on the Miami side, which you hate to see after an icing. Got to be very careful here against this top line. Talk about matchups earlier on. Omaha's already cashed in with this line once due to a matchup. RedHawks again win the face-off, and they'll knock it out the glass. Out to center. Fletcher with a takeaway in on goal. Trying to leave it off for Dukovac, but it missed him. And Miami can't play the puck, and everybody gets off the ice. That's horrible timing, but it does come back the RedHawks' way. And Dukovac will take it down the left wing. He throws it just wide of the cage. Daskis from a sharp angle. Save made on a puck tracking wide by Lacosi. Now Dukovac is locked up with Randall in the corner. Puck ends up behind the net where it's directed to the far wing. Taransky holding the zone for Miami. Taransky, cross for Clement. Room to work. Clement shoots. Save made by Lacosi through traffic as he got it right in the numbers. RedHawks are going for a tip there, and it is a frozen puck with 1:41 to go in the second period. Face-off coming up on the right wing side of the offensive zone for Miami's fourth line.
Yeah, that's a good look from Clement in the top of the right circle. Just you have two guys in front generating some traffic, and you just kind of throw it on net. And I'm more than okay with those looks, and I'm sure Chris Bergeron is as well. Just gotta keep getting shots on net as they've. They're continuing to close the shot gap. I will say that. They're at 15 now, so 13 more than the previous period. We'll take that any day.
Yeah, the RedHawks now have a 5-shot advantage here in the second period. Now shooting Omaha 13-8. Mavericks outlet it to center quickly. It's Erdahl directing it with one hand into the far corner where he chases it in front of the Zamboni doors. Plays it back near wing for Nolan Sullivan. And he gets pinned up against the wall by Moulton. Puck popped free for a micro second before it was played back into the pile. Miller on the far side. Reverses his feet, now does so again, and now he's got some space. Plays it up to the point. Ellis shoots through traffic. That got blocked by Daskis, and the RedHawks take it the other way. Taransky's got wheels down the left side. Taransky will circle, loses his footing, and now it's grabbed, and the Omaha will take it Miami's direction. 3-on-2. Erdal's pass looking for the trailer, got knocked away. Mavericks still with it as it's Ellis skating down the left side, but his pocket was picked by Daskis, whom he now pins up against the near wall in the corner of the Miami defensive zone. 48 seconds to go in the second period with Omaha leading 2-1. It's Dempsey behind the Miami net. And again, a stick into skates, and another one that Miami's lucky they didn't get called for a penalty on as Dempsey hauled down Jimmy Glynn. Puck is in a pile right next to the Zamboni doors as more time winds in this second period. Finally, it comes free behind the net. And the RedHawks push it right back where it came from, and another log jam ensues with 25 seconds left to go in the period. Drasner got it free and played it right back into the pile. Now the RedHawks will get it up the far side. And can't clear. It's held into the zone. Shot through traffic. Save made by Rivera's. Rebound is sitting in the crease, but it's finally cleared away from Glynn. Again, it's held in out of the air. It's knocked down by Krenzen. Shot through traffic. Through by Lime.
Oh my
is
gosh.
held in. And again, a hold of the point with 3 seconds to go. LeMay shoots. That's deflected wide. Glynn now with a try from a sharp angle at the buzzer. And a disastrous sequence in the Miami defensive zone as that one hit off the side of the net. And the period comes to a close. So an otherwise good period for Miami in which they had the shots advantage and showed energy ends in a shift where they just couldn't get the puck out. The buzzer could not come any sooner. The RedHawks come out of that, though, without giving up a goal and headed into the third period here on Friday night. They trail it by a 2-1 count. It seemed like that period kind of got better as it went along, Jeff, and I mean, you really have to hand it to this Miami team and their ability to continually create energy seemingly out of thin air at random moments in games throughout the season. But, I mean, it's going to be tough. We saw that. You take your foot off the gas pedal for one shift. You think that, you know, you're going to get free breakouts. You're not in this game. And Omaha cashing in early in that period takes an advantage into the second intermission.
Yeah, and this is where what we've seen kind of all season comes into play. You have a good period. You close the shot gap. You have the shots lead in the period. You get some good high danger chances. You get a goal. So you know you can score. You've got confidence doing that. But it's got to be more than just one period. It's got to be more than just one shift. It has to be consistent, and not only consistent for 2 lines. It's got to be all 4. And honestly, or all 3. I mean, we didn't really see that 4th line play at all in the second period. But either way, it has to be better, and it has to be, you have to do it for the next 20 minutes because, Omaha's not going away, and that's why they've won all the games that they've won, and that's why they're ranked where they are, and they're going to be persistent through the entire third period, and you have to work. You have to work like you did in the second period, and you should, take pride in that because that was a good period, and that's what you need.
All right, so after 2 periods of play here from Cady Arena, it is Omaha 2 and Miami 1 as the RedHawks are within striking distance on Friday night for the second straight weekend. Miami looking to finish the job. They tied it against Denver before falling in a shootout last Friday, looking for a win in NCHC play here in the final home weekend of the year. Jeff and I are back for third period puck drop coming up in just over 10 minutes time. For now, we send it over to Andrew Relvas with our second intermission.
Thanks, Luke. Thanks, Jeff. Fun second period of action here between the Mavericks and the RedHawks. It was a good effort, much better effort in this period for the RedHawks over the Mavericks. They were out shooting the Mavericks by a good margin. They were trailing by 13, and they cut it to 9 now, so outshot them by 6. Good effort from the RedHawks from top to bottom, playing really well. And you get a goal. That's the most important thing, unfortunately, for the RedHawks. Omaha gets another one. So it's 2-1. Omaha on top of the RedHawks right now. But here you go. Third period. Got to bring the action in. For Miami, it's all about that intensity. They brought the intensity this period. Much better period. Now it's all about replicating that. Can the RedHawks do that? It's going to be the story of the locker room talk for Chris Bergeron. Got to bring this intensity in the third period. Get your fans into this one and give them something to be excited about. In terms of goals, 2 goals are scored between each teams. for Omaha. A fast break opportunity. Score from Jimmy Glein, the senior from Lamont, Illinois, able to score for Omaha. And then for Miami, it was 2-0. Scratch that in half. John Waldron, a goal, power play goal, able to make it 2-1 versus Omaha in the second period. So a great answer from the RedHawks. Now it's all about this pressure. How can the RedHawks just push it to these Omaha Mavericks? Got to continue to give the pressure. And I'm telling you, if this is a different goalie, who knows for Omaha. Likotsky has been otherworldly right now. He has been making some huge plays from left to right. He's been making life tough here for the RedHawks attack. And, you know, you got to give credit where credit's due. Likotsky's a good goalie. The RedHawks offense just a step behind. But if they get going here, applying some pressure, it's going to be a much different ball game here for the RedHawks. I can feel it. The tide slowly slipping Miami's way, but we will find out in about 10 minutes. How can the RedHawks turn the energy meter up and make this one another hard-fought battle for Omaha? In terms of shots, LeMay and Randall each with 5. Randall as well, he has one of the few assists here on the day. Jack Randall, grad student from Carpentersville, Illinois. Really solid player for Omaha, and he's playing well tonight. Another player that's been well on it, it's been Joaquim LeMay, 6'1" sophomore, selection by the Capitals, and 5 shots on goal. He's a phenomenal player, and he's given Omaha some great chances with those shots. In terms of shots for the RedHawks leading today is who else but P.J. Fletcher, the Quinnipiac transfer a few years ago. He's been really solid for Miami, helping them win possession, win the face-offs, and get some more chances here from Cady Arena. Fun one here from Oxford, Ohio. And in terms of face-off wins, Daskus has it for the RedHawks. Thomas Daskus, a senior from Rochester, Michigan, has been all over it here for Miami, and big reason why the RedHawks have been much better here in the second period. Face-off wins for Omaha. It's been 8 for Nolan Sullivan, the senior captain from Eden Prairie, Minnesota. Phenomenal hockey player, phenomenal skater. Nolan Sullivan has been controlling the puck really well on the Omaha side, and he's a big reason why they are up. Look at the top 25 scores from across the country. Plenty of games to be talked about. Before talk about the keys of the game, how can the RedHawks take down the Mavericks? After 2, Boston College and New Hampshire tied 2-2 apiece. Fun one out on the East Coast. See if Boston College can continue their strong season, #1 team in the nation. Western Michigan versus North Dakota, 2-0. North Dakota on top of the Broncos from Western Michigan. 7:08 left to go in the first home game for North Dakota. Denver versus St. Cloud State at St. Cloud State. Score 0-0. That game just started. Clarkson at Quinnipiac. Clarkson up 2-1 on top of the #7 team in the nation, Quinnipiac. Just trying to get an upset. Quinnipiac, defending champions, trying to scratch it together. Michigan versus Minnesota, 16 versus 8. 15:49 left to go in the first game just started. Michigan actually just scored, so it's 1-0. Wolverines on top of the Golden Gophers. Maine versus Vermont. The Catamounts on top 1-0 after 2 periods. Maine number 9 team in the nation, trailing the Catamounts on the road. St. Lawrence versus Princeton. Upset alert here. The number 10 ranked Princeton Tigers are trailing 4-2 here in the second. St. Lawrence up 4-2, trying to keep the foot on the gas pedal. Union versus Cornell at Cornell. The Big Red trailing 2-1 in the second period. Fun one there. In the Ivy League, UMass versus UMass Lowell, tied 1-1 apiece. About the end of the second period in that one. And got 3 more games. Michigan State versus Wisconsin. 6-4 matchup starts off at 9. Minnesota Duluth at Colorado College starts off at 9 as well. And Arizona State hosting Long Island at 9 as well. Keys to the game here for the RedHawks. How can they take down the Omaha Mavericks? Hear from Coach Cady Arena. Well, first of all, talked about it all game long. You got to bring the pressure. You got to make life tough here for these Omaha Mavericks. They did it in the second period. I love this effort that the RedHawks employed. They really forced the Mavericks to work, and really, Omaha was having trouble turning the ball over, especially on their own end. You don't see a team like that in the Omaha Mavericks, number 18 in the nation. You don't see that happen very often. The RedHawks took advantage once with their score from John Waldron. Got to continue to keep the pressure on Omaha and, yeah, steal the ball on their end, do your best, and just make life tough for Simon Lakotsky from Slovakia. Very talented goalie. And the thing is, RedHawks, they played awesome defense, especially on the other end, at even strength too. I love what the RedHawks have been doing when they're forced to defend at even strength. They just lock down, they keep their heads down, and they play some heads up defense that is definitely admirable. To continue to employ that throughout the rest of this one. Just continue to play their game, and RedHawks gotta be all gas, no brakes here in the third period. It'll be a fun one, fun finish to this one, potentially. Let's see how this RedHawks offense can continue to grit and grind and try and steal victory here from the Omaha Mavericks. This game, honestly, feels a lot similar to that Denver game. The RedHawks were trailing 3-2. They had their backs against the wall. The visitors out at Denver, one of the toughest environments to play in. And they silenced all the critics, and they were able to tie one up, bring one to overtime. That's exactly what the RedHawks need to do. They have to silence the critics. They have to silence the haters. They gotta just play their brand of hockey, which is scrappy. They don't give up, and they just gotta continue to make life tough here for Simon Lakotsky and this Omaha defense. But so far, the score's 2-1 after 2 periods, and we've got a fun 20 more minutes left to go here in Steve Coach Cady Arena between the RedHawks and the Mavericks. Send it over to Luke and Jeff for the third period. I'll be back for the post-game break. The RedHawks and the Mavericks here from Oxford. Can the RedHawks flip the script? Can they silence the critics? Can they get their first win in a month and a half? That's going to be the storyline of this period. Gotta keep the pressure on from start to finish, though. That's exactly what it's going to take. They can't let up. They can't really show any form of weakness to start the period. And I'm sure the fans are definitely going to be a factor here. It'll be a rowdy environment. More people start to pile in here. I'd say it's probably 70% filled. You take that for a Friday night. Fans got to get loud. Definitely been a factor. And, 2-1, it's anyone's game. Although Omaha has the lead, the RedHawks can flip the script with a few lucky bounces, lucky shots, and hopefully they can turn this one around Miami's way. That's going to do it here from the second period intermission break. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we will step away for the rest of this one. Hand it over to Luke and Jeff for the third period. You're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio.
Back for the third period here from Cady Arena. It is Omaha 2 and Miami 1. Got good news right before the break that the Miami softball team closed it out against Louisiana. Ends the day 1-1. It was an excellent showing for them down in Norman, Oklahoma. Hopefully that brings some good omens here to the ice where the RedHawks hockey team looks to come back. And Jeff, Miami needed an entirely different period in that second than what they saw in the first after getting outshot 14-2. For the most part, a job well done after allowing an early goal. This Miami team went down 2-0, but again, they've shown their ability to create their own energy, and I mean, they're in the game headed into the final period.
Yeah, and this is the same situation that you saw in Denver. You're down 2-1, and you have a chance to come back. Obviously, you don't want to give up that third goal to make it a 2-goal difference, but you know, you're in the game. You've given yourself a chance to come back and take the lead or even just tie it, but you have to continue those good habits. I mean, there were towards the end of that period, especially in that last minute, there were a lot of bad plays. A couple of them were just good plays to keep the puck in by the Omaha defenseman, but you know, there was one that kind of stuck out. Robbie Drasner kind of messing with the puck in the slot and then couldn't get it out. He turned the puck over there, and you just can't do that if you want to win against this team. Again, they're ranked 18th in the country for a reason, and their goalie Simon Latkosi is not going to let in any easy goals. This game could be 2-2, but it's not, so you got to keep working.
Omaha in the black uniforms moving left to right. Miami in the whites, they move right to left. We are underway in this third period. Omaha winning the opening faceoff and getting the puck to the far side. It's poked into the far corner of the Miami end, where it's picked up by Ty Muller, the draft choice of the Vancouver Canucks. In behind the cage now, it's Randall skating it up left point. It is sent into the far side corner where the RedHawks finally take it away. Up ahead, the pass in between Vitalins and Fletcher got picked off, and the Mavericks will dump it back in. Randall chips it to himself in front, looking to go after it, and
no.
Clement laid into him. Braveris looked like he might have been hurt, but he was just kind of finagling himself out of the net. He looks to be okay.
Yeah, I was a little worried there.
Yeah, could have been very scary. Anyways, Omaha has it back at center point. Proctor's shot got blocked in front by Moulton. Puck still alive. It's thrown up to the high slot. Lutke had it whacked away by Fletcher. It's held in the zone, though, on the left point by Proctor, who's already got a goal in this game. Back down low underneath the goal line. Sullivan spinning it away from Clement, who lays a stick down on him. And now Vitalins will pry off the puck from Sullivan. But it's Miller that has it in the near corner. Miller back up top. Mancini with a one-timer. Barbolini blocks it with the stick, and it breaks in half as he'll head to the bench. Back behind the net, it is thrown out in front by Sullivan, and the RedHawks will take it away. Vitalins flutters it back the other way, and Nielsen will arrive there first to negate the icing. So he will try to kill some time as his line mates get on the ice and try to get things going, and does a good job pinning it up against the wall to let the RedHawks at least get there and give it a shot. Omaha will grab it, though, and clear down the ice, and Drasner gets there first to draw the icing call against Jimmy Glenn, who was hot on his heels. 18:22 to go, third period. It is 2-1 Omaha over Miami, and the RedHawks will take the draw on the left side of the offensive zone.
Yeah, good play by Albin Nilsson. You said it down low to pin that puck along the wall. You'd probably like to see Johnny Waldron get a little bit more involved coming back in as that. I guess it would have been the fourth man, two Omaha defenders and Nelson down there, but nonetheless, a good play by number 9 for Miami.
Omaha wins the faceoff. They'll outlet up the near wing. It is Miller with a cross-corner dump to the far side of the Miami end. Ryquist back to it, try to poke it up the wall for Waldron, but it was stepped in the way of by Erdahl. RedHawks, though, will Get some short area passing to get it back out to center, and it's Sullivan that will knock it off the end wall. Waldron touches it behind the Maverick net, but Lansdale will circle the cage and has room to skate it up. Cross-ice feed to the far side for Bremer. He cuts it across and leaves it top of the left circle for LeMay, who will push it back in deep in the Miami end. Dempsey tracks it on the near corner up ahead for Dukovac. He handles it around one and gets it out to center. Glynn spins it away from him and finds Bremer, who will cut across the center rim. Bremer down the right side, plenty of speed. He shoots to the backside, and that one missed wide. On the left point, a shot was blocked off the stick there by Taransky back out to neutral ice, and the dump-in attempt finds its way to the end boards where Kumlin turns it over. Ray Foose behind the net for Omaha, and up against the end wall, he is pasted by Daskis. Dempsey pulls it free and finds Kumlin on the NCHC logo behind the Miami net. Kumlin now will break and head back behind the RedHawk cage where he's got time and space. He leaves it. Dukovac swings through and leaves the puck, and Kumlin will grab it up ahead. A pass intended for Taransky does not find him because Kumlin's stick failed him. It goes down for icing. Trying to put some serious whistle behind that one and stretch the ice, but just shattered his stick, and the puck just kind of poetically in slow motion trickled down the ice. We get a stoppage for icing with 16:56 to go in the third, and Omaha up a goal.
I wish I was strong enough to break a stick on a pass like that.
I've been working on the same stick since high school. It's got nothing left in the blade. Everything that fills it is gone. I've been trying to break it for literal years, and I just can't do it.
See, that's when I break it on purpose, because there's no way I could ever use something like that.
Ludke with a shot off the draw. Blocker save made by Berveris, and with the puck on the far side, there is a battle for it that's just kind of slowly making its way down the wall, and now finally Randall worms it free with Daskis right on his back, and Daskis will throw him up against the wall again as he is pasted up against the window. RedHawks pull it free, and now it's Dukovac down the left side, cutting across the center rim. Dukovac will shovel it in. Miscommunication with Kumlin. A pass ends up as a dump-in. Dukovac will race it down. Puck is poked free up the near wall, and Taransky finds it for Miami. Taransky up to the center point. Drag, shoot! Save made. Lacosi didn't see it, but he got it with the shoulder, and the puck comes to the near side on the rebound where Dukovac is plodding away at it. Gavin behind the net. Ludke taps it back to him. Now this is Randall in the near corner. D to the far side for Ludke, who will play it back to the near wing for Jacob Gavin. Now it's Ludke once again regrouping.
Sorry, Luke, that was, just want to point out, that was a great play along the wall by Vitalins to screen off that defender, lift his stick, and let Taransky get the puck and work towards the middle for that shot.
Top line back out with Vitalins, Fletcher, and Barbolini for Miami as Miller gets it ahead. Sullivan blew a tire just outside the offensive blue line, and the RedHawks take it away. Barbolini can't dangle through traffic, but it finds Vitalins on the far side. Vitalins fans on the passing attempt, and now a break the other way for Omaha. A cross-ice pass finds Miller in space. He winds, now shoots, save made, rebound out in front. A tuck attempt by Erdahl. He fanned on it, and the RedHawks will lift it the other direction. Barbolini trying to race it down. He's shielded off nicely by Ellis, and the RedHawks will take it away for a moment, but it's back to Omaha's. Erdahl clears it up the right side. Into the Miami end. Ryquist touches off for Simonovic as both teams go for changes. Stretched up the ice to the red line. It's Fletcher trying to dump it in, but it's gloved down by Mancini, who will regroup it back to the Maverick end. Past the 5-minute mark, third period. 2-1 Mavericks over RedHawks. Puck in the ref's crease as the RedHawks will double back with it. It's Waldron backward for Kumlin, who now heads up the right side. He leaves for Waldron, who one touches to the near side for Nielsen. He'll play it in behind the Maverick net where Lacosi is out to get it. Proctor up the half wall for Bremer, and now rink wide for Mancini down the left wing. Mancini, short pass for Glynn, who will get to the far half wall of the Miami end and ring it to the near side. Bremer touches up for Mancini at the right point. His one-time shot is deflected well wide. Figuring it out in the corner, Bremer gets crunched by Simonovic, and now Kumlin just leaves the puck behind the Miami net. Glynn going after it, but Simonovic lays the body and will kick it up for Sullivan on the right side. Sullivan across the ice for Kumlin. He touched it. It goes down the ice and will be icing as Kumlin was short of the center red. Miami fans booing a little bit, but Kumlin deflected that puck.
Pretty clearly icing.
Yeah, he was just on the Kroger logo before he reached the red line. So 14:07 to go, third period. And still 2-1 Omaha. Face off on the left wing side of the offensive zone for the Mavericks top line of Randall, Muller, Ludke.
If I'm not mistaken, Axel Kumlin has been out there for a little longer than they probably want him to be, but
And he was pinching, too, because he was the guy that had the deflection up near the red line and then tried to beat out the icing. And now the officials are trying to figure out some changes. Dukovac is thrown off the ice for Miami in favor of Elpin Nielsen as Miami was trying to sneak a guy off, but the officials figured him out, and they will get the puck down. RedHawks win the faceoff, and it's Kumlin leaving it back in behind for Simonovics. Kumlin blows a tire. Nielsen can now get off the ice, and Dukovac will get on as Simonovic circles his net and will send for Daskis up the right side. Daskis gets slammed. That's a really nice hit by Ty Muller, and he will direct the puck back to his defense. LeMay up the left side. This is Jack Randall cutting it through the middle. Randall enters the zone down the right wing, throws it out in front, hit off a skate, and ends up in the far corner. Randall tracks it there, shovels back for LeMay on the left point. LeMay dragging, waiting, shooting, it's blocked down. Glove down in the slot now, and no shot attempt came from Omaha. Now a drive from the center point by LeMay, hit his own teammate as he connected with Muller up high, and that ends up in the neutral zone. Mavericks right back to it on the offensive end. It's Lutke on the right wing, and he will play it down in deep for Muller. He lays a shoulder in on the reverse hit for Vitalins, and that opens up space to skate it to the far side. Now it's Lutke in the corner, and he kind of got hauled down by Clement, and another one that the RedHawks might have got away with. Stretch the ice, meanwhile, the other way, Taransky leaves off Barbolini, cross the ice, Moulton can't tuck it in, Ryquist out in front. Check that, Vitalins. We got a penalty coming up. It's probably going to be on the RedHawks as the puck goes to the far corner. Barbolini pulls it free, and there's the whistle, and it will be goalie interference on Miami as Licozzi couldn't come out to play it. Dylan Moulton tried to walk that across on the doorstep, and he just rammed right into Simon Licozzi, and he'll sit for two. So a crushing blow to the RedHawks, who looked that close to be tying the game. Dylan Moulton not only missed on the chance, but bowls over the Maverick goaltender and will sit two for interference to send the Mavericks to their fourth power play with 12:47 to go in the third period as Omaha looks to add to a 2-1 lead. So that has taken to a media break here. We will stay here for it with just under 13 minutes left to play. Omaha out shooting Miami 26-17, and Miami had probably about 4 fortuitous things happen to them on that shift that led to the eventual scoring chance, but the failure to convert, and now they'll have to kill a penalty. It was a RedHawk penalty kill, Jeff, that it was good, obviously, in the first, converting on all 3 tries, but you're hoping maybe can be a little bit better now, given the fact that they had the scheme right in the first period, but didn't really have the legs. They now have that energy in their step a little bit. Hopefully that helps.
Yeah, and I've talked about it before, especially in that first period. It was a lot of open passing lanes for the Mavericks to kind of just do whatever they wanted to do. Now, Miami was really good at blocking shots and getting in lanes, but you can't let a talented team like Omaha just snap the puck around like that, because they're going to find open space and they're going to find a weakness in the defense, and Bruno Braveras is not going to be able to save every single shot on one-timers across the seam like he has before in games that they've needed him to. It's just not realistic, and so you'd like to see some more energy and some better awareness of where all the Omaha offensive players are, as that one goes all the way down.
Mavericks won the face-off, but they failed to convert on it, and now Waldron with a steal out in front, shoots, save made, has the rebound now in the Zamboni doors. The puck got pinned up against the wall for a moment. Waldron now still with it, and he'll poke it back to the point. Across the ice, it's Drasner from the left point. Try to play it through the middle, and Barbolini was heavily defended, and the Mavericks will take it away.
I know what you're trying to do there, but that's not the play. Just get it on net.
So it's back into the RedHawk end as it's Ryquist working with Muller, and now Randall will just ring it up the near half wall as finally the Mavericks can set up 40 seconds into the power play. Lutke, that's Tanner Lutke from the near half wall, up for Griffin Lutke now. Now from the left point, a shot sent through, save made by Braveras. Rebound is loose, and it's cleared away by Barbolini. Braveras was upright. There was a chance on the short side, but Barbolini swatted it away. Mavericks back into the offensive zone. Tanner Lutke takes a step towards the net, but is now forced back out wide, and he'll sauce it up center point for LeMay. LeMay walks left point, hands off for Gavin, and now down low. A cross-ice attempt is blocked by Ryquist, and from a knee, he fires it down.
That's what I mean, like getting in those passing lanes, especially those low to high lanes. You know, Miami loves to do that on their power play, and so, you know, protecting those lanes are especially key. And we've seen the penalty kill, do that a lot of times. They'll have the back defender put his entire body across the ice. It's been effective.
23 seconds left on the penalty as it's LeMay down the right side, stops in the corner and gives back up for Erdahl. Barely holds the zone, but Erdahl shoots, save made, rebound, tucked through, they score. It's Brock Bremer right on the doorstep, 5'5", but it doesn't matter. He snuck through there and put it between the wickets of Breveris on the rebound. And after a strong penalty kill, Miami folds up late with 14 seconds left in the penalty. At the 8:59 mark of the third period, the Mavericks retake a 2-goal lead at 3-1.
It honestly didn't look like Bremer got all of that in front of the net. Breveris kind of scrambled over, tried to do a spread eagle, but it just kind of flubbed its way between his pads. You know, a good play to the front. Yeah, he kind of just got it with his toe, and Breveris was so spread out that his 5-hole was wide open, and the puck just kind of slid through it. But a great play at the point from Erdahl just to get that puck on net.
Fourth of the year for senior Brock Bremer, and it's 3-1 Omaha over Miami with 10:48 to go in the third period. Bremer has looked excellent in this game and shows the trust that the coaching staff has in him. Only 4 goals on the year, but he's getting power play time and converts to make it a 2-goal Maverick lead. Miami back with it. Now it's Daskis down the right side, drag, shoots, and it goes just high and wide. Simonovic saves it from going out of the zone on the right side, but the puck rings all the way to the far wing where Erdahl's got plenty of space, and he'll play it back behind his own net for Krenzen. His pass up ahead, though, missed the target as Glynn and Bremer both couldn't get to it. That's icing with 10:16 to go in the third period. 3-1, the Omaha lead, following the goal at the 8:59 mark of the third by Brock Bremer on the power play, assisted by Joakim LeMay and Zach Erdahl. Offensive zone draw here. Miami's got Nielsen, Sullivan, Waldron out with Drasner and Ryquist. It's Lansdale, Glynn, and Bremer, the third line for the Mavericks.
This is a familiar situation. I said it earlier, and you talked about it earlier too, Luke. Just you don't want to give up that third goal, but now you're down 3-1 with about 10 minutes remaining, and this is where Miami really turned on the Jets against Denver.
Drasner got a shot from a sharp angle off the draw, but it was saved. Now out at the point, a drive by Ryquist took 2 tips on its way to the net, but the save was made by Lacozi. Clearing attempt now is sent into the Maverick bench. Looks like the faceoff will stay in the Maverick zone. That is indeed the case, but they can change following the icing with the puck going into the bench. 10:01 to go third period. It's 3-1 Omaha. Shots are 29-20 in favor of the Mavericks. And a faceoff on the right wing side for Miami, who's now got their top line out there, Barbolini with Vitalins and Fletcher.
This line's been really good all night, so not a surprise to see them get this offensive zone draw, see if they can create something with Rydquist and Drasner on the back end. Oh, wow.
What is going on? Omaha bench is going crazy right now.
I don't know who that is on the other side. It's Kirby Proctor.
Yeah,
he's slamming his stick on the ice.
Puck. They were trying to get the officials' attention, I think, but they dropped the puck anyway. Drasner with a cross-ice pass. That got blocked following the draw. Fletcher plays it up top for Waldron. His shot seemingly took Lacozi off guard, but he still made the save. Now it's deflected out in front, but there's nothing but black jerseys there, and Sullivan will clear it out of the zone. So Miami does have a little bit of momentum following the goal as puck got deflected out at center and ends up in the Red Hawk bench. Still not sure what the heck was the case over there at the Omaha bench, as the officials now going to go have a chat with Mike Yabnett, their head coach on the Maverick bench. I mean, they were close to just starting to throw sticks on the ice. They really wanted to get the officials' attention.
Yeah, I'm not sure why. Maybe because the puck wasn't dropped to their liking, or it wasn't dropped at all when they slammed their stick. But I don't know. Just I guess I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before. Just not teams getting mad at the officials not dropping the pucks, but more the manner in which they got angry. It's new for me.
Yeah, Sullivan with a takeaway. Brings it into the offensive end, playing it back down low for John Waldron, and he got blasted behind the net. He ends up with the puck, though, now behind the cage, and will throw it out in front, but that didn't find the target. It ends up all the way down the ice. Breveris skates all the way into the far corner, to play it, and will hand behind his own net for Dylan Moulton, who directs further up the wall for John Waldron. Deflected puck out at center. Dukovac got lit up, but still found Taransky, who dumps it in. Taransky going work 1 versus 5 on the forecheck, and the Mavericks do outlet to center, where through heavy contact, Randall will clear it ahead. Simonovic now for Dukovac down the left wing for Miami. Dukovac spins and will play it in deep for the RedHawks. Staskis has been out there a while. He grabs the puck, but now loses it. And this is Slipik down the left side. Skates it out of his own zone, crosses the red, and will shovel it on into the Miami at 8:21 to go, third period. 3-1 Mavericks over RedHawks. Kumlin sidesteps and skates it out to the net front. Now he'll curl behind his own cage and head up the right side before leaving for Barbolini and going for a change. Ray Foose lays a hit into him just for good measure. RedHawks now below their own goal line. Simonovic skates it down the left side and goes rink wide for Drasner. Up ahead, this is Fletcher just inside the blue. He finds Vitalins, who couldn't get a clean handle on the puck. Finally he does and goes up right point for Drasner. Cross for Simonovic. He sidesteps one. Simonovic drags, finds Barbolini. Turnaround shot save, rebound kicked on, but the stop was made by Lacozi. Couldn't tell if Vitalins got a stick on that or if he just kind of pushed Griffin Lutke into the puck there to knock it back on net. But Lacozi again with another nice rebound stop. And with 7:47 to go in the third period, a 3-1 game led by Omaha, we get a stoppage.
And Simonovic's the newest Red Hawk to slam his stick on the ice after an offensive chance doesn't go their way. It's been that kind of night, especially in the back half of this game, the second period for sure. But you know, earlier they didn't deserve to slam their stick. Early in the first, they didn't deserve to slam their sticks on the ice, but they have for sure gotten better over this back half of the game. Just got to convert on your chances when you've got them.
Miami is out shooting Omaha since the first period after the Mavericks led the shots tally 14-2 in the first. Since then, it is 20-14 RedHawks, but the Mavericks have scored 2 goals since then. Miami only 1. Fletcher dragged it between the legs, but could not get it cleanly just inside the blue line as it's taken away by Lansdale, and he heads behind his own net and now will push ahead for Bremer. Straight down the center of the ice. Bremer now steps right, heads into the Miami zone. Bremer working around Moulton, throws a shot on from a sharp angle. Save was made, but the RedHawks can't clear. Now it's Mancini from the right point. His shot is hit hard off the blocker of Breveris all the way out of the zone, where it'll be grabbed and dumped in by Miami's John Waldron. Miller just lazily gives it away at the blue line. Moulton with a shot. That got deflected wide. Now another try from the far post by Waldron. Throws it back in front, but there were no RedHawks there to get a stick on it. It ends up back out of neutral ice. 6:33 to go, third period. Mavericks by 2. Waldron nicely skates it through traffic and heads down the left wing. Waldron tried to tuck it through the middle. One chance now, a second puck loose in the slot. Moulton swats at it. Where is it? It's up in the air. Simonovic throws it through and scores. Finally, Max Dukovac got a tip on it. We mentioned Lacozi's desperation type of style. He was all sorts of different places on that play, and none of them were really in the net. Finally, the RedHawks cash in off a tipped puck. Max Dukovac will get credit for the goal off the shot by Richard Simonovic. It's Dukovac's third of the year, and Miami's back within 1 with 6:15 to go in the third. It's a 3-2 hockey game.
Yeah, and for someone who's been beat up this game, it's really good to see Max Dukovac get on the board because he's really earned it. It's been a hard game for him. He's had a couple times where it just stood up in the neutral zone and blown up along the boards. It's been a brutal game for him in terms of the physicality, but it's good to see him get on the board there and you know, score his third of the year.
So Miami dumps it back into the Maverick end, and we've seen the RedHawks be strong after their first goal. They'll need a similar type of effort after their second. Mavericks get it back into the Miami end, and nearly a 2-on-1 development. Randall gets blasted by Kumlin. Kind of Cronwalled him with the back there as the puck ends up on the far side. And Simonovic's working on Ty Muller, 19-on-19 in the corner. Muller pries it free, try to throw it back to the point. And the puck ends up in the near corner after it was just one-timed back in by LeMay. Puck along the near wall with 5:33 to go in the third period. Even strength goal at 13:45 by Max Dukovac. Assist to Simonovic and Ryan Sullivan as a pass up the far side Just got deflected by Baszler into the net, or into the stands, I should say, over the glass. And that will bring a stoppage, and they will say, because it was deflected, Miami's allowed to change, and that will take us to a timeout. So with 5:23 to go, Miami's made it a hockey game once again. It's 3-2 Mavericks here from Cady Arena. Miami looking for some more late game magic on Friday night. We're back after this on Red Hawk Radio. Stay with us. With 5:23 to go in the third period, it's Omaha 3 and Miami 2. Max Dukovac with the goal just prior to the break for the RedHawks to bring them back within one. With Jeff Middleton, I'm Luke West-Poley, Andrew Relvas alongside as well. He'll have post-game coming up following this one. Still plenty of time left for the RedHawks to make something happen, as they have shown some pretty serious fight in this game after what was a brutal first period. Omaha dumps it into the Miami end to begin the sequence following the timeout. It's Robbie Drasner in the near corner of the RedHawks zone, playing it back for Raymond's Vitalins. Top line out there for Miami. Vitalins gets crushed. Got it to the far side, but Lansdale laid the boom on him, and now Fletcher having trouble with Lansdale as he tried to lay a big hit on him, and the Mavericks will end up taking the puck away. Ludke shoots through traffic. It got partially blocked and ends up wide. Twisted back in front of the net where Fletcher gets to it for Miami, and he'll leave off for Barbolini down the left wing. Barbolini sauces it through the middle. It hops Fletcher's stick, and regrouping backward, Griffin Ludke will set up with his feet planted in the left circle of the Maverick defensive zone as both teams finish up the changes. Down the right side, this is Sullivan, the captain of the Mavericks, will loft it on in against the end wall. Clement's attempt to play it in behind the net deflects to the far side, where he'll play it back behind the Red Hawk cage for Moulton, right back to Jack Clement, who goes forward for John Waldron. Across the ice now, Moulton with room to skate down the left wing. Moulton enters the zone, trying to give it back for Waldron, and gave it away. Erdahl lost his footing. That saved the Redhawks probably a 2-on-1 or a breakaway. Still taken ahead by Sullivan for the Mavericks. Shovels it out in front. It got sticked aside by either Miller or Rivera's. Now it's Miller behind, throws it in front of the net. Just sat there in the slot for a moment before Sullivan got there for Miami.
Yeah, good read by Ryan Sullivan there.
Moulton in the near corner leaves off for Jack Clement down the left side, and he'll just send an end-over-end puck out to the center end, where Randall will headman it down the right wing and back into the zone. Randall cuts to the middle, shoots, and it goes just wide. Hopping puck nearly ended up back on the left post, where it's directed back in behind by Taransky, but Miami can't clear. On the left point now, a shot sent in as well high from LeMay, and it is Archer Taransky that has it on the near half wall before being locked up against the boards by Jack Randall. 3:16 to go third period with the Mavericks leading by a goal. Taransky turns around and flings it high off the glass, but it's saved inside the left blue line by Krenzen. Clement behind the Miami net plays it up right wing for Waldron. And now Waldron will lift it out. And this will be short of icing as Taransky with the hustle to get to it. And now with a takeaway, Taransky's pass, looking to find somebody in the slot, deflects high in the air and goes all the way back to the Red Hawk end. He'll now get off the ice as Simonovic is back to it behind his own cage. He's having a little bit of trouble, and will play it in behind for Axel Kumlin for Miami, who further circles back and prying away at him. Bremer can't take the puck away. Simonovic across the ice for Dukovac down the right side, dances by a defender and plays up for Simonovic down the left wing. Simonovic enters the zone, shoots over the high glove. Ends up at the right point where Kumlin sidesteps. Kumlin with a lane down the middle, shoots, scores!
What a shot.
Axel Kumlin takes the space. A rocket from the high slot goes bar down, and Miami has tied it at 3 with 2:21 to go in the third.
Unbelievable. What a play from Axel Kumlin. That might be one of the best plays we've seen from any Miami player this entire season. That was phenomenal. Just a slick move at the blue line to lose the defender. There's tons of space in the slot and just rips one. We know he is a cannon slap shot, but there's that wrist shot as well. Just a phenomenal play.
So Kumlin picks up just his second goal of the year, and my goodness, that was a beauty. It ties the game at 3. Miami's got it tied for the first time since 0-0. Ryquist back with it in his own end for Miami, banks it up ahead for Fletcher, tried to direct it through the center of the ice, but the pass is intercepted by Lutke. He tries to dangle his way in, but it's knocked off his stick. But Tollins will clear it out past center where Barbolini tracks it for Miami, and Barbolini will dump it in. But Lutke is back there with plenty of time and space up the far side for Omaha. Through the middle of the ice, an attempt to get down through the slot. The RedHawks knocked it off the stick of Muller, and now it's Vitalins down the left wing. Vitalins will gain the red and dump it down with 1:43 to go in the third period. Kumlin from Semenovics and Dukovac at 17:39 has tied the game at 3. As we are now approaching 90 seconds left to play in regulation. Lansdale turned it over. It's Nielsen and Waldron in a 2-on-1 of sorts. Waldron leaves it back, throws it towards the net. It's kicked out in front, but Sullivan's swan attempt was stuffed with the pad by Lacozi.
What a fantastic play from Nielsen in front there just to kick that over.
So now Waldron has it for Miami. He plays up ahead for Dylan Moulton. It's knocked out of the air just inside the blue line on Moulton's passing attempt, and the Mavericks will clear it back down the RedHawks way, and they ice the puck with 1:08 to go in the third. And Miami is firing on all cylinders right now. This is sort of a killer instinct of sorts that we have really not seen from this RedHawk team at many points this season since tying the game. Still time here in regulation. It's Fletcher, Vitalins, Barbolini with Semenovics and Kumlin, the goal scorer who just tied the game moments ago. And as we might expect, Mike Gabinet with tired bodies on the ice, not taking his chances. Timeout called by Omaha with 1:08 to go in the third. Wow.
How about that for a hockey game?
I mean,
huh?
this
Still plenty of time, but
this looked like a Miami team that you get beat 8-1 at Denver on Saturday night after coming up with a brilliant effort on Friday on the road in a place where you have really never won. And then you follow it up the following night, the 8-1 loss where you don't even score your own goal. It's scored by the other team on the just wild empty net play with the goalie out for a delayed penalty. You come out on Friday night at home here on senior weekend, and there's not really a ton tangibly to play for. You're locked into the 8th seed. You're going to have to go to the Ralph to play North Dakota in all likelihood following the end of this, and you get outshot 14-2 in the first period. You're down 1-0. You end up down 2-0 in the hockey game. Miami's looked like a different team since. They fought all the way back. They were down 3-1 here in the third and have rattled off 2 straight goals, and prior to this timeout, we're all over the Mavericks as they have tied it up at 3.
So, Luke, that goal, the second goal was scored a minute after the second goal was scored in Denver on that Friday night. And then this goal by Axel Kumlin to tie this game was scored, I believe, 36 seconds after the tying goal was scored in Denver.
It's awfully similar, isn't
Yeah.
it? Look out, takeaway going the other way for Omaha. It's Erdahl down the right side, shoots and scores! Oh, hold on. A turnover at the Miami blue line, and Erdahl scores to put the Mavericks back out in front with his 9th of the year.
There it is.
Oh, goodness.
It's a 60-minute effort. It's not 59 minutes. It's not 59 and a half minutes. It's not 59 and 45 seconds. It's 60 minutes.
Timeout, RedHawks. Wow. Credit to this Omaha team on the road. We mentioned the fight of this Miami team to get back in the game, but it's not as if Omaha's been flat.
No,
this team just got up off the mat. I mean, they were on their heels. They had to call timeout following an icing. And Zach Erdahl just pounced on a loose puck, took it down on a 2-on-1 and put it over the right pad of Bruno Berveris. And just over a minute after that Red Hawk goal, he gives the Mavericks a 4-3 lead.
And it was Richard Simonovic on the blue line, just couldn't corral the puck, and you know, it was Vitalin's over there as well, I believe, who didn't really give much of an effort, just kind of reached his stick out, and then, I mean, you said it, Erdahl just jumped on that loose puck. Simonovic couldn't keep it on his stick and comes down, and you know, you feel for Bruno Berveris. He's had a heck of a game, and that's just it's frustrating. This is another game in a season of games where you could at least get a point, and they're on track not to get one.
4-3 our score with 55 seconds left. The Mavericks win the faceoff and will fire it down. It was tipped beyond the center red, so that's no icing. Berveris leaves it back behind for Vitalins with 45 seconds to go as it's 4-3 Omaha, and Berveris is heading off as the Redhawks get it up the ice down the far side. Sullivan bangs it into the Maverick zone with 30 seconds left. Muller pinning it up against the wall. Barbolini races it down below the goal line. Barbolini skating it up the far side, now leaving it for Fletcher. Fletcher shoots from a sharp angle, save made, plays it back out in front, but they couldn't get to it. 22 seconds remain. Vitalins plays it up the half wall for Sullivan. It's taken away and Omaha clears. 15 seconds left. Kumlin down the far side. It's settled by Fletcher. He'll fire it on in. Redhawks going after it on the half wall. It's Vitalins down low for Sullivan with 7 seconds to go. Sullivan working below the goal line, plays it up. One-timer is blocked out in front, and the Mavericks clear it away. And that's your game here on Friday night. Look out. Barbolini got run at after the horn had sounded for the Mavericks by Nolan Krenzen. But the officials break that up rather quickly, and just a heartbreaking loss here on Friday night, a senior weekend for Miami. They battle back from a 3-1 deficit in the third, scoring just prior to when they would have pulled their goaltender. And with the game tied, they give up a goal with just over a minute to go as Zach Erdahl hit the dagger for Omaha to win on Friday night by a 4-3 count. Well, I mean, look, on the Omaha side, you got to be thrilled. This was a game that you absolutely had to have. You have to have both this weekend for your NCAA tournament hopes. And, I mean, on the Miami side, we keep echoing the same sentiment that, I mean, this isn't a Miami team of old. A Miami team of old would have folded up in the third period when they went down 3-1. Exactly right. You look at the record, and it looks like things are the same for the Redhawks. And
arguably worse.
Yeah, you sound like a broken record when you say it, when this team just looks different than they have in the past, but they have. The unfortunate thing is they just continue to not get the results to back that up. And, I mean, you're at the point in the season where you really start feeling for the guys on the ice. I mean, this is another one that the Redhawks could have at least grabbed some points in, like you mentioned. Miami now in conference play has had 4 different games that have not gone their way by way of the overtime or shootout, and now have another one that didn't go their way in a 1-goal hockey game because of a late goal. I mean, this team's close. It's just not clicking right now.
Yeah, and I think, you know, you feel bad, but you also have to understand that, like, this is, you have to find a way to win these games, and Miami has found a way to be in these games, but they really need to take that next step if they're going to. I mean, this conference is hard, and I don't think anybody's expecting them to, you know, be with the North Dakotas, be with the Denvers, even, you know, the St. Clouds or Colorado College, who both teams have been kind of all over Miami in recent years. But it's just, you've got to do something against the Duluths, the Omahas. There's teams in this conference that are beatable. Every team in this conference is beatable, but you have to be able to really dial it in and play it full 60 minutes, because again, you give up a goal with, you know, 54.7 seconds left, and that's it. It's all that effort, all that comeback. The 3-1 comeback means nothing at that point. You don't even get a point out of it, and it's got to be frustrating, and it's frustrating for everybody that comes to watch in a weekend. Is it doesn't feel like, even if they come back, it doesn't feel like there's any confidence there.
Yeah, It's a results-driven business at the end of the day, and we can sit up here and talk about how much better this Miami team has been. But especially from a fan perspective, player perspective, coach perspective, however you want to put it, not getting the results is something that continues to sting for the RedHawks. Miami falls 4-3 on this night against the Omaha Mavericks after the goal by Zach Erdahl with under a minute to play to untie the game following Miami's erasure of a 3-1 deficit in the third period. RedHawks are back coming up tomorrow night as they will take on the Mavericks for night 2. We'll have coverage of that game 6:35 p.m. pregame, 7:05 puck drop between the RedHawks and the Mavericks in our final Miami hockey broadcast of the year. Senior night coming up tomorrow night for this Miami team as they'll look to go out on a good note here at Cady Arena against the Mavericks. We'll also have baseball coming your way tomorrow afternoon as well. Jeff will be on the air for that. He'll talk to you at 1 o'clock tomorrow as Miami looks to pick up the second game and the series win against the Golden Grizzlies of Oakland. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll wrap it up for Jeff and I. For everybody else making it possible behind the scenes here at Red Hawk Radio, thanks so much for listening both tonight and all season long. Miami falls 4-3 to Omaha here on Friday night. We're back tomorrow, but to get you wrapped up tonight, we send you over to Andrew Relvas with our Red Hawk Radio postgame.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Luke. Absolute heartbreaker. Perfectly sums up tonight's action between the RedHawks and the Mavericks here from Coach Cady Arena. I'll keep this brief. The RedHawks, they fought back. They did the impossible with about a minute left. The RedHawks were tied with the Mavericks 3-3. And just a total heartbreaker. It was a fast break goal from Erdahl that was just no match for Bruno Bruveris. It was a 2-on-1 opportunity, and the RedHawks just could not match it. And also got to credit Jeff. He said it perfectly. The RedHawks, you got to play 60 minutes of winning hockey. They were so close, but just not close enough. And unfortunately for the RedHawks, they fall 3-4 to Omaha in Game 1 of the weekend series between these two teams. Just a tough way to go out, and hopefully tomorrow the RedHawks' final home game of the season, hopefully they can turn it around and potentially win this one here against the Omaha Mavericks, but unfortunately they fall 4-3 in an absolute heartbreaker. You could credit some things. The RedHawks are definitely a much more resilient team than they were last year. Last year they were absolutely shut out most times when they were down 3-1, 3-2, just like Luke was saying. They have fight. You got to cheer on that if you're a Miami fan or a hockey fan in general. You got to love those teams that just always fight. They never give up. The RedHawks got a ton of young guys who are willing to fight for the cause, willing to do whatever it takes to get the W. Tonight, halfway home, nearly had it, but unfortunately for Miami, just a tough effort, and hopefully flip the script here from Cady Arena tomorrow when the RedHawks face off against the Omaha Mavericks for the second time this weekend. It'll be a 7 o'clock start. Luke and Jeff will be on the call in what should be another entertaining NCHC matchup between these two teams. Our next Red Hawk Radio broadcast, just like Luke mentioned, will be at 1 o'clock for Miami baseball. Oakland versus Miami. Should be a fun one out at McKee Field at Hayden Park. Miami won the first game of the weekend 21-7 in a football-esque score. RedHawks will hopefully try and keep the pressure on the Golden Grizzlies. Game 2 will be tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And then we've got hockey tomorrow at 7 o'clock. So a doubleheader Red Hawk Radio action. Fun one on Saturday. And then on Sunday, we've got more baseball at 1 o'clock. A fun Red Hawk Radio weekend. Thank you so much for tuning in, spending your evening with us, and we will see you in our next Red Hawk Radio broadcast. Miami falls to the Omaha Mavericks 4-3 here from Steve Cady Arena. Tough result. Hopefully the Red Hawks can turn it around and pick up a huge W tomorrow for the final home game of the home schedule. Thanks so much for tuning in. My name is Andrew Relvas. We'll see you in the next Red Hawk Radio broadcast, whenever that may be. And if not, we hope you have a great rest of your night.